Well, I'm just pulling on the lot this morning, getting ready for taping today, and this is a particularly demanding scenario because we've got a woman, she thinks she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin, and that she's going to meet him, and he's been signaling her and talking to her. She's having some really significant delusions.
My mother thinks that she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin.
I love him. He is going to take me home to Russia.
You know, her daughter Amy thinks that she's not only delusional about being in love with Vladimir Putin and him in love with her. This has been going on for 3 years. In fact, she thinks she's the mother of Russia.
You're saying he's in love with me. Why hasn't he gotten you?
She wanted to go to Alaska so she could cross over into Russia to meet him. And they wouldn't let her into Canada, so she was living in her car. And we went up there at the request of her family, picked her up and brought her here.
Vladimir communicates with me through his ties.
This guy's the most powerful guy in the world. Why is he talking to you through his tie?
It is delusional. The question is why, and how can we get this woman back with her feet on the ground? Just put it this way, it's going to be an uphill battle this morning.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. You might be wondering why I'm standing here in a completely empty studio. Well, it's because my guest today, Jennifer, is dealing with what I and her family believe to be a serious and potentially life-threatening mental illness. If I'm going to help her, I need her to be 100% focused on me. Every guest we have on Dr. Phil, in addition to seeking personal guidance, is a teaching tool. The question for you at home is, how do you know when unusual thinking and behavior has crossed the line from perhaps a passing disturbance or an idiosyncrasy to a mental illness requiring professional intervention? Jennifer's children believe she has crossed that line. They say they first noticed something was seriously wrong with her thinking when she revealed she was engaged to marry Russian President Vladimir Putin. In fact, Jennifer says when she saw this picture of the Russian leader, she knew that she was destined to marry him and become the Queen of Russia. I treat all of my guests with dignity and respect, including those who may have debilitating mental illnesses, however outlandish their expressed beliefs. In addition to helping Jennifer, my hope is that I can respectfully raise awareness about this type of thought disorder, whatever the diagnosis, by educating you at home on how to recognize it when you see it. If you find yourself dealing with similar symptomatology, I want you to know what it is and what to do about it. Jennifer's children say their mother's delusions have gotten so bad that she now believes she stopped President Trump's assassination, terrorist plots, and 4 wars. Take a look.
My mother thinks that she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin to the extent that she has become homeless, living in and out of motels. My mother says Putin is going to make her the Queen of Russia to help run his country.
My mother is delusional. I honestly couldn't tell you the last normal conversation I had with my mom. Always comes down to Putin, religion, politics.
He had posted this picture, a good evening, and that was the night before I arrived in LA. And
30, 35, 40 minutes, nonstop talking.
These are the trees outside of La Part here, so he already knows where I'm going, what's being set up, all that stuff.
You would put the phone down and walk away and come back and she'd still be talking.
Yeah, and so this is how Vladimir and I, we communicate through pictures.
My mother told us she's had visions or dreams of working with all these world leaders over in, different countries.
So what he's telling me here is that if the U.S. does not sign that peace treaty with North Korea, we're going to do a similar type of a JCPOA with North Korea to make sure that we have global peace.
My mom thinks she's really in contact with President Putin and believes that they're going to get married. I think it's all crazy.
And on top of that, she went out and bought a wedding dress a few years ago because she had a dream she was going to get married after getting wrapped up in Vladimir Putin. That's who she believed she was called to marry.
My mother believes that there is a code between communication of Vladimir Putin and herself. She believes that certain hand gestures and stuff that is meant just for her. When my mother would show pictures of Vladimir Putin to my children, she had my daughter, who is 2, calling Vladimir Putin her Dida, which I believe is Russian for grandfather. She's not living in reality. Everything is on social media, and that has become her reality. My mom posts on social media probably 70 to 80 times a day about different world leaders, and she'll find coincidences that happen with what's going on in the news or politically, and she'll say, I did that, that was me.
Just keeps getting worse.
My mother is currently homeless because she needs to be prepared and ready at a moment's notice for when Vladimir is going to pick her up to bring her back to Russia. My mother lived in a truck stop for over 120 nights, sleeping in her car with 2 dogs.
My mom needs mental help. There's something seriously wrong with her.
My mother doesn't see what she's doing as nuts, and she thinks we are the problem, not her.
Okay, it's good to meet you guys. Do you have any idea why she's fixated on Putin?
We have no idea. It's just something that she's been going on for 3 years. We don't really know what triggered this obsession.
Now, she went to try to get it to Canada?
Yes.
Because she was going to go to Alaska, so...
She could cross the Bering Strait to be into Russia.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they let her in Canada?
Well, she was detained at customs just for the fact that she didn't have the funds to basically fund her trip through Alaska.
Is true. They require you to
or
show
through Canada.
You show some wherewithal to do what you say you're going in there to do. She also believed that she was stopped by Nancy Pelosi
Yes.
as well. So she put a grandiose spin on it.
Yes.
Peter, she gave you power of attorney, correct?
Yes, that is correct. She wanted me to take care of her, I guess, financial things, if I had to do appointments or deposit checks while she was over in Russia.
Now, she thinks that she's a visionary.
Yes.
Right, and she thinks that she's communicating with world leaders, that she can foresee and influence world conflict, terrorist attacks, things of that nature.
Yeah.
You're convinced she believes this.
Yeah, she sounds so convincing with every detail she says about everything.
Right, and she's very intelligent.
Yes, she is a very smart woman.
Okay, and her communication with Putin, she has a library of images and text. These are some of the Facebook posts that she's put up to him. Here's to another day, loving you, XOXO. Straight to St. Petersburg, one of my favorites from today. I love you, V, good night. I can feel that you want your wife, me, with you. I can feel that longing pulling on me. It was a very, very good morning, waking up next to you every morning, as your wife will be even better. So this is her communicating to him. Then she finds images of him just in the media, and she reads something into those, like he was wearing a certain tie, or there's flowers. Isn't it sweet that he put these flowers in? All of this. And that's her reading him communicating back to her. There's a code.
Yes.
Yes, no matter what picture she'll see of him, she'll find a way to correlate it to
Find
her.
something in there that's a secret message.
Yeah.
All right, well, we need to meet her. Next, Jennifer admits she's never spoken to, never met, never been in the same room, never even been in the same vicinity of Putin, but claims they communicate through a secret code involving Putin's tie color. She says that he wore a black and white tie recently, which means he's coming to get her. Now, we'll meet Jennifer after the break and let her explain how all of this fits together. We'll be right back.
I really can't wait for him to come get me. I feel like I belong in Russia. I can feel when he's thinking about me. Vladimir had posted a picture of him wearing a black quilted jacket, which was similar to the black quilted vest that I planned on wearing. If he asked me, without a doubt, I would marry him. I would. He's my best friend.
My mother believes that at any moment, Putin will be ready to pick her up. She's left our house with $88. Her plan was to drive all the way to Alaska.
She got a car for some random stranger. That's when she started her journey driving to Chicago, followed by North Dakota. And
her ultimate plan was to get into Canada, drive to Alaska, cross the Bering Strait to be into Russia. She drove as far as North Dakota. She was detained. My mother believes that she was flagged at customs because Nancy Pelosi had stopped her at the border.
Well, Jennifer says she and Russian President Vladimir Putin are head over heels in love. She believes the Lord has shown her through prophetic visions that she will soon be Putin's wife and mother of Russia, and will birth him a child. Take a look.
I have a relationship with Vladimir Putin. It started out politically, and from there it started to develop more of a friendship. I'm sorry, I gotta take a minute. I love him. Oh, my screensaver. It's Vladimir praying. If he asked me, without a doubt, I would marry him. I would. He's my best friend. I've actually had visions of him coming in on the presidential plane and me going back to Russia with him. Back when I saw Vladimir wearing the cross necklace, that's when my world stopped. I just felt I had to do everything I could to help him. I really can't wait for him to come get me. It's my fishing pole. This fishing pole is going to Siberia with me fishing, so that's why I'm carrying it with me. I feel like I belong in Russia. We communicate through social media on a daily basis. Vladimir is messing with me right now with what he's posting. One of the ways that Vladimir communicates with me is through his ties. The one picture here with the black tie with the white polka dots, he'll post these photos of the black with the white polka dots, just letting me know that he is going to come and take me back home to Russia. This tie here, the beat tie, which is kind of like my sweater today, and I noticed he would have red lips. And, you know, I'm over here and I'm thinking, is the man catfishing me? What is going on? Right after I asked him, why are your lips red? Are you kissing a lady over there, you know? And right after that, he ended up sharing that he drinks the beet juice with horseradish in it, which was creating the red lips. So now he will wear the beet colored tie. He's just letting me know, look, I'm not kissing anybody, it's the beet tie. I can feel when he's thinking about me. Vladimir had posted a picture of him wearing a black quilted jacket, which was similar to the black quilted vest that I planned on wearing. I began having prophecies. I would birth another child. I was having dreams of having this little girl that him and I would have. Actually holding a baby outfit that the Lord had led me to go by and to begin praying over. Vladimir will often post the blue tie with the white polka dots, confirming to me, you know, this is our future. Right now, I'm homeless, and this is the path that brought me into the conditions that I'm in. I got hit with spiritual warfare. You know, when you're coming against evil that I do in this ministry, I get hit and finances will dry up. I have no support from my family, my children. I'm out here shifting militaries and nations and world leaders. I live for an audience of one. That's all that matters to me.
Well, how are you?
Oh, a lot of different emotions going on right now.
Yeah. You said that you're processing a lot of this and it's just an audience of one. And that's what I wanted today, was an audience of one.
Yes, thank you.
I want you.
Thank you.
And me. And your children are here because they love you very much. And they're concerned about you. You're homeless. And y'all are very concerned. That's reasonable, right?
Well, it is, but I think the motivation for them being here is not because of concern. I think it's character assassination. I do.
And what is it that they get from assassinating the character of their mother?
I feel like because of what I'm doing, and I haven't shared fully the depth of my involvement with these governments and world leaders, they see this outside, they see what's going on, and they can't explain this to people, and I think it's embarrassing to them. And I think to save face, let's bring her on Dr. Phil, show she's psychotic, and that way we have something to tell people why she's out doing these things, because they don't fully understand. I get that.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because we've talked to them and done extensive interviews with them, as we did with you, so you know how in-depth we go.
Yes, yes.
And not one of them has said a negative word about you from the first minute we talked to them until right now.
Unless it's just a facade, because they do that. I mean, it's been something that they do, whether it's with family or through text messages. I mean, I gave the text messages she sent that she thought I was psychotic and needed help, and all of them think I need help.
What if you do?
I would take it. I said, do a full psychiatric evaluation on me. You want chemical, hormonal, full eval, I'm willing to take that.
Jennifer believes one of her Facebook followers is President Donald Trump. She believes she has influenced a number of his decisions, including his firing of James Comey and his pursuit of peace with North Korea. I want to ask her about those things, but I've got a fundamental base question I want to start with when we come back.
I have a lot of visions. I close my eyes, and the minute I do, it's like a light show. I will start seeing one image after another. I'll post stuff out there, and it's shifting these leaders to have meetings and conversations. I influenced the meeting with President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un. In 2016, I get a call from the Trump campaign in Syracuse, New York. He goes, well, we need a lot of help over here. Can you come help us with the Trump campaign? And when he said that, something in my spirit was like, that this is that prophecy of political influence. I realized at that moment that I needed to use, my spiritual gifts, the prophetic gifts, with this campaign to help President Trump win the election. I feel that my prayer life had protected President Trump during the campaigns. There were two different times, and in prayer I saw people trying to come in either to attempt an assassination, something wasn't right, and I would send an email and warn, and they would email me back, thank you for the information.
Well, Jennifer says while working for the Trump campaign, she realized her mission here on earth is to share her prophetic visions with world leaders in order to stop wars, assassinations, and spread global peace. All good missions, of course.
I have a gift of prophecy. You hear the voice of God to speak to people, but I will oversee conversations. I have a lot of visions. I have a lot of dreams. I see visions with my eyes open, my eyes closed. The way this gift works best is I will post on Facebook or Twitter what the Lord is showing me. Normally, world leaders, other people are seeing that and making decisions to try to intercept the evil I'm seeing coming. I close my eyes, and the minute I do, it's like a light show. I will start seeing one image after another. The world leaders that are following my posts that I'm aware of, 60 to 75% of world leaders, presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, first ladies, defense ministers, foreign ministers, kings, queens. I can go pray over a nation and the Lord will show me whether there is a miraculous cure for a disease, or I will see a region and the Lord will show me, there's oil in that region, go ahead and tap into it. I encouraged President Trump to fire former FBI Director James Comey. Trump listens and to the advice and stuff of the Lord through me. I'll post stuff out there, and it's shifting these leaders to have meetings and conversations. I influenced the meeting with President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un. A lot of these world leaders, they trust the Lord's wisdom through me for global strategy. I was behind the Iran nuclear deal staying in place. I actually had a dream one night of the warplane in Syria and the whole incident where we ended up striking them. And the next portion of the dream, I saw a terror attack on the London Bridge. I post this on social media. A few days later, there's headlines all over the place. I was sleeping in my granddaughter's bed one night, and I start seeing Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi was murdered in a consulate in Turkey. And it was probably the most graphic vision I've ever had in my entire life. I'm seeing his face. I'm seeing somebody from the Middle East, the rope being used to strangle and choke him. I saw a needle go into his neck. I saw fingers being cut off. I was hearing the screams. I'm just weeping and sobbing that night, and I'm posting and posting. Every piece I'm seeing, I'm posting on social media, and I just wanted to bury my head in Vladimir's chest.
Nick, I get the feeling you're hearing some of this for the first time.
Yeah.
What?
It's disturbing. It almost sickens me to hear this. I miss my mom. I wish I had her in my life, my kid's life, and just seeing her go down this path is upsetting.
You miss me, but you didn't have me at your wedding, and you had my sister I didn't talk to since 2012 perform your wedding ceremony. That's how much you miss me. I'm not invited to your wedding. You miss me.
You've been invited to everything.
I was never invited. No.
You have been invited to everything.
And apologized to you.
You choose not to come.
Of everything.
And you choose not to be a part of anything.
No, because you guys had taken away my position as mom. I am still your mother.
But you have your mother, you have your more than one mother to love your children and take care of your children.
But the bottom line is you guys have put so many people in my place in your life. You pushed me out, whether it's my sister, your stepmom, all these other people. I can't help the gifts.
You're jealous if we talk to anyone else.
It's not that.
Yes, it is.
If
we don't go to you get upset.
You don't include me. We used to be close. You guys pulled away from the Lord. I didn't.
Your son is down here, and obviously in pain about this, and you have no reaction to that whatsoever.
Well, I'm bothered by that.
He's telling you that he is disturbed by what he's seeing. He misses his mother, and your reaction is to be a right fighter. You have your son in front of you in pain, and you totally dismiss it. Are you that cold?
I'm not.
You can't go out and solve the world's problems and not tend to your own family. I think it is damn disrespectful for you to talk about how you see everything that's happened with the killing and dismemberment in the embassy over here. It's pretty easy to prophesy something after it happened. All of your posts were 2 weeks after it happened.
And then pieces of what I saw started coming out in the news. None of that stuff was public.
Yeah.
See, this is all you care about. What about your kids, your grandkids?
I am so tired of being hurt by everybody.
Would you agree that Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful men in the world?
I do.
If he's in love with you, why has he never met you? Would you agree that Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful men in the world?
I do.
He's worth several $100 billion. He sits atop one of the most powerful nuclear arsenals in the world. So if he's in love with you, why has he never met you?
Well, and I've questioned that. I think.
Why is he? I mean, if this guy's the most powerful guy in the world, why can't he meet you? Why? I mean, it's not like he can't afford to come see you. It's not like he can't get to you. So if that's true, then why is he talking to you through his tie? Why isn't he coming over and saying, hey, come on, let's go?
Well, maybe you should have him on the show and ask him. Seriously, because I think a lot of it has to do with political and timing of stuff.
I mean, listen, you're not exactly a political hot potato.
I feel like you're chasing this and...
Well, let her answer the question. If one of the most powerful men in the world is in love with you, why hasn't he come and gotten you?
I do believe, well, there is some issues going on in the beginning with some things, and I think that...
No, don't talk to me about euphemisms and some things and powerful issues. He's the most powerful man in the world. He makes his own rules. Why hasn't he come and seen you?
That I have no idea. I can't answer for him.
The reason you can't answer it is because you can't make sense out of nonsense. Right? You're saying he's in love with me. You've never met him. You've never talked to him. You've had no direct communication with him. This is one-sided. This is you to him, not him to you. If he wanted to talk to you, he would talk to you. If he wanted to get to you, he would get to you. True?
Yes.
I mean, come on, logic.
No, logic, I know.
So...
Well, and I've questioned that. I've questioned, is this all about political stuff? What is this? I've really
questioned. It's not about political stuff. You are not politically relevant.
That you would say that, but I mean, there's evidence that there is relevance. There's evidence and proof of the stuff I'm doing.
So you're telling me that you're so powerful that Vladimir Putin can't afford to get around you?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
now,
that.
Come on, you know that's grandiose and egotistical.
No, I'm saying that with me and my prayer life, with the stuff that I expose and show. And Vladimir, he's obedient. He'll get on stuff the minute the Lord shows me something, whether it's hauling out gold. I mean, I exposed where there was a uranium mine in Siberia. Him and China are digging it out right now.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. If he wanted to meet you, he would meet you. True?
True.
Next, Amy's fiance, Corey, says the entire family is enabling Jennifer, enabling her to believe things that are not true by giving her thousands of dollars so she can pretend to be a political influencer and in a relationship with Putin. My core base question was, if the most powerful man in that whole region of the world, one of the most 2 or 3 powerful men in the world, wanted to meet her, why hasn't he? We're going to add Corey to this conversation after the break.
She does not have the gift of vision she thinks she has. Amy, Peter, and Nick have confronted her numerous times. And there was a lot of enabling going on in the family, with helping her out with money. I believe she's a scam artist.
Having the strong prophetic mantle that I do, when people have been intimate, and I have this thing, I started recognizing it with my teenage daughters. And if they had a boyfriend, like I would look at them and it was almost like I would see their boyfriend's face morph into theirs and then go back out again. And I began wondering, like, why am I seeing that? And then the Lord revealed to me they've been sexually intimate.
Amy's fiance, Corey, says it's time to stop enabling Jennifer and allowing her to live in what he believes is a fantasy. Corey says enough is enough, and until Jennifer seeks mental help,
from Corey,
it's time for the family to step back. Take a look.
I don't agree with the way that Jennifer's living her life. She needs help. She's selfish. A few years back, she'd get some money and she'd go get her nails done, her hair done. When the kids needed food, needed stuff for the house. She lives in a fantasy land, thinking she sees visions that are going to come true, thinking she's with somebody she's not. Yeah, Jen speaks of Vladimir Putin every hour. She does not have the gift of vision she thinks she has. When I met Jen 12 years ago, she seemed to be stable. Jen spiraled out of control after her third marriage. Amy, Peter, and Nick have confronted her numerous times, and she thinks she doesn't have a problem. She thinks she's completely normal. There was a lot of enabling going on in the family, with helping her out with money. I believe she's a scam artist, but just doesn't tell anybody. And she just thinks it's God working through her. I feel like Amy and her brother should cut Jen off. When Jennifer came to live with us, I knew it wasn't going to be good. I didn't want Jennifer to move in, but it is Amy's mom, so I wanted to be supportive. Jennifer living with us put a lot of strain on our relationship. Just spiraled down from there. We had no privacy. We were financially responsible for her, and I didn't like that. Jennifer would use my son's phone for social media to talk to Vladimir. I hated it. She used to screenshot pictures of Vladimir Putin on my son's phone. Nobody is taking any initiative to say, Mom needs help. I feel if she stays the same and doesn't seek help, something bad will happen to her.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to everything we've been talking about so far.
Yes, I have.
I've been asking what I think are some very commonsensical questions.
Yes, you have.
What do you think about the answers? I don't seem to be getting any answers.
Not really, dodging the question.
Yeah. When you say you think that these children are enabling her, are you saying financially?
Yes, whenever she needs help. You know, there's other siblings, other sisters there to help quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Peter's helped quite a bit. Nick's helped quite a bit. Me and Amy have, supplied her a place to stay. Mm-hmm. Not so much money. We haven't given her much money, but we've given her a place to stay and stuff. Yeah.
Just kept her able to continue doing what she's doing. Now, you're the one that emailed.
Yes.
Because you want help here.
I've just had enough. I don't agree with everything that's going on. I'm not her son. I'm with Amy and Peter and Nick, and I just thought it was time to do something to try to help her out.
Yeah. And do you think this is kind of over everybody's head?
I thought you'd be the only one that might be able to help out.
You say that everybody's enabling me. I took you guys in and helped counsel to keep you guys together a while ago. You admit that. And I helped with that.
And we appreciated that help.
But the bottom line is, what about with Bane? I had a dream right before he was born, and the Lord had me praying for 2 days straight for him. He was born dead for 4 minutes, but I don't see or hear from God. He had me praying for that baby to live. And no thanks, Mom, none of that stuff.
I hear you talking about you solved this, and you fixed that, and you prophesy this, and you resolve this. And it's all about you. And all the Christians I know give all the glory to God, but you give all the glory to you.
Well, not the case. I think I'm looking for validation from them with the gifts, because they're always minimizing and trying to suppress and knock down what I'm doing. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of being hurt.
And you never hurt us?
We're tired of you making us choose between you and everyone else in the family.
Everyone else in the family that has been cruel and doing things that I just pull away from, and you guys want to choose that, that's fine. That's your life.
You've isolated yourself from the whole entire family, not just your children, but your whole entire family.
Well, she says that you stole her youngest son away.
You took away his childhood, and you know that.
That was my child in my home, okay?
It's time to have a serious conversation about what I think is really going on here. We'll talk about that after the break.
was diagnosed with PTSD from a prolonged series of childhood neglects and abuses. There was some molestation that went on, verbal abuse, a lot of physical abuse growing up. Some of these older males that were inappropriate with me when I was a little girl. My mother lied about the paternity of my father, so I grew up thinking my dad is dead. I have a hard time trusting people. I have all this stuff I'm doing out here on the global stage, you know, working with and love with the president of Russia, and yet I have this family saying that why would God use you, and trying to impose that you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough to be doing these things. It's extremely hurtful. Like, I can't deal with the pain of that. I don't want to, and that's why I go solo and just cut everybody out of my life.
I think just in the short time that we've been together, I actually think there's been a lot of progress and a lot of movement on your part, because I think you've gotten very honest and very real here. Because if you've noticed, there's not been a lot of the filibustering about global warfare and all of that, but what she has talked about is the fact that she's really hurt.
Oh yeah. I feel like these are not mine, because I can't imagine kids doing stuff to their mom that these guys do. And it's hard. They're my kids, I love them, but I don't know if there's any repair.
I think when you were growing up, I think there have been some really unresolved conflicts in your life. I think you spent a lot of years being lied to about who your father was. I think that you were really violated when you were 14 years old. And you make out like it wasn't that big a deal to you, but you did try to take your own life after that. May I speak candidly about this? Your mother was raped when she was 14 by 3 different people. And this was never really tended to.
Yeah.
Some of these things can be so painful that we really do seek escapism. You mentioned fantasy.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Sometimes life can get so difficult that you really do try to find some way to, you call it daydreaming, and sometimes it gets so chronic that we start to live in this daydream world. You get into erotomania. And erotomania, which often shows up in this type of psychosis, occurs when there's a delusion that an individual firmly but mistakenly believes that someone else is in love with them. And often it's a famous person, despite minimal or no real contact. And the evidence to support the delusional connection is typically found in hidden meanings or gestures. Now, these are not things that I just made up when I met you. These are things that happen when someone has lived with unresolved trauma for a long time. And, when you have happened to you what's happened to you, and, when we're young and energetic and our metabolism's at a really high rate, it's kind of like we can keep a lot of balls in the air. But, as we get a little older, you get to 38, 39, 40, you kind of go along. Some of those balls start dropping. We just don't have the energy we used to, and we start to panic. And when you start to panic, you go further and further into fantasy land over here because you don't want to deal with this. So now you can start living over here, and your brain changes even more. And I think you deserved a lot better help than none when some of these things happen to you. And I think you have some very open wounds that you're dealing with the only way you know how, which is just try to escape them.
With this stuff with Vladimir, I have questioned in the back of my mind what's going on. Was it to destabilize, to try to get into our system here?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very grandiose distortion, because if somebody was going to try to find an entry into our system, it wouldn't be a lady living in her car in North Dakota. So what's to be done here? I'm going to give my thoughts, and I'm going to take her up on an offer she made to me at the very beginning. We'll be right back. You said you are willing to undergo every kind of evaluation to get answers and find out if you've got goggles on that are distorting the world.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to take you up on that by top-notch doctors and therapists and round-the-clock nurses to ensure that every client gets the one-on-one monitoring and attention to get to the answers that they need. And we know that you have some unresolved issues, so this can do nothing but help you.
No, and I'm definitely open to going into that. My thing is, and again, I started getting the dogs. Like, I want to take them with me.
We'll work that out, and you'll be able to see your dogs. That's not an issue. You said you would. You're either going to, or you're gonna go back on your word and not do it.
No, I will go.
I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, check out what Dr. Phil's superfan Zach wrote. I have an unhealthy obsession with Dr. Phil. Well, watch Dr. Phil. Maybe I'll tell you how to get over that. I read all your comments on Facebook and Twitter, so keep them coming. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
But I will come and do whatever you guys need to do and go through everything, and I can explain everything, you know, from start to finish, what brought us to this point. And I've always wondered, if I'm in prayer and I see like gold in a nation, he's on a plane, he goes to get it. I mean, it's not coincidence. And so you have all these things, so it's like, am I being used for my gift, or what is going on with that? I think the stuff with my kids, I'm done. I want nothing to do with them anymore. And I just feel like it was all this phony, oh, we love her, we're concerned, this and that, when there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and that does not portray how they've treated me. I'm concerned about being separated from the dogs. We've never been separated, and I do. I mean, I actually love my dogs more than my children, which is sad, but they don't put me through the hell my kids have.
Hey, Dr. Phil. Hey, Dr. Phil. We wanted to show you a couple graphics. Here is a screenshot of a sonogram that Marie says is allegedly her fetus.
Right.
She says that she's 12 weeks pregnant. We weren't sure if this was even her sonogram. So this is a 12-week-old fetus. And then we talked to two doctors. They looked at this sonogram photo. They think that she's around 20 to 22 weeks pregnant.
If that is hers, she's almost twice as far along as she says.
Exactly.
This is all about the parents.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My daughter told me she's pregnant.
She's 15.
She showed us something that she claims her parents are not aware of. This is an alleged sonogram she's taken.
Out of control.
She's made terroristic threats against you to have you murdered.
And calling all the shots.
She said, the reason I'm laughing all the time when they're telling me something is because I've got the power. They mess with me, they're gonna pay. She took your car.
There's a lot of scratches. What have you been hitting?
You're missing the point. The conversation is, you stole my car. You've put up security cameras, I guess, because you just want to watch her commit crimes. I don't know. You don't do a damn thing about it. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Mary Beth and John say their 15-year-old daughter Marie has become distant and angry and really is just no longer the charming, talented, honor roll child from just a few years ago. Now, Marie's name and face were plastered all over missing posters and the news this year because the teen ran away 3 times, sold stolen items, and took their car. She doesn't have a license, she just took the car. So Mary Beth and John installed these security cameras in their home, took their daughter's phone, removed her bedroom door and Wi-Fi, and even bolted her window shut. But these parents say Marie still manages to just leave whenever she wants to. Take a look.
My daughter Marie is out of control.
My daughter is turning my life upside down.
These are bad people. That's why I'm worried.
My daughter has completely changed. She's no longer the little girl that I raised. She's hostile, she's distant, deceitful, dishonest.
You cheat us. You make a mess. You cheat.
When she was little, she loved to dance, she loved to sing.
My daughter Marie was a good student and seemed to like school, but now she seems to be in a nosedive.
School just started 6 weeks ago and she already has 32 absent.
In our house, we always want to have camera to see if she sneak out, what time she sneak out.
We cannot trust her.
We ask her point blank, where have you been? What have you been doing? Who was with you? And we get no answers.
My daughter is a chronic liar.
Marie has been shoplifting.
This is from the store.
A few months ago, our daughter stole the keys to one of our cars and took it out joyriding in the middle of the night. At 4:30 a.m., we confronted her at the door.
I was very mad. I slapped her face and she doesn't care.
A few months ago, Marie ran away from home. Our daughter stole $100 cash from her mother, also stole her mother's passport, and used it to pose as her own mother to rent the Airbnb. We notified the police. They put out a missing child alert.
Thousands of people already calling me saying, where's your daughter? What happened to your daughter? We saw the news.
The detective told us you can sue her for a fraud.
Marie returned home. We confronted her at the door and demanded her cell phone and her backpack. She refused to give up either one of them.
We're struggling, pulling each other. I took that phone and she bit me. We tried everything, but it's like nothing works.
Well, sadly, the story doesn't end there. Mary Beth and John say their daughter claims she is now pregnant. But they're not sure what to believe at this point.
At one point, we discovered that my daughter had a number of condoms in her room. We took them away from her immediately. She then claimed that if she ever got pregnant, it was going to be our fault because we had taken her condoms.
A few weeks ago, my daughter told me she's pregnant. It blew my mind. I screamed, I cried a lot.
I was very upset. It was a mixture of anger and helplessness. Our daughter sat there silently. Her mother took our daughter to a clinic to determine the status of her pregnancy. And under state law, that clinic does not have to share the information with the parents, and Marie asked that it not be shared.
At this moment, we want to know if she's really pregnant or not.
You're gonna regret what I'm gonna do soon to you. That's why I need to know if you're pregnant.
My daughter can't even take care of herself. How is she going to raise a child?
I don't know what to do. I talked to our pastors and we pray for this. God answer Dr. Phil. He's the answer of our prayers.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I assume you guys are glad you're here because you're looking for reinforcement, right? You're
yes, sir.
For help. Yes. You're in two very different situations, and I'm going to talk to you guys as a pair of parents, and then I'm going to talk to you separately because there are some differences between you here. Now, Mary Beth, at this point, you're not sure whether she's pregnant or not.
No, all I have is that pregnancy test that, she showed it to me. And every time we go to the hospital.
Because she showed you a positive pregnancy test,
yes.
But then she also showed you a negative pregnancy test.
That's from the clinic because she said she put a water on it. She doesn't want to show that. Because she doesn't want to take us there.
Well, and then there have been writings in her diary, right?
Yes. In her diary, right, she's ready to be a mom, like she want to buy diapers, baby shower and everything.
In the diary entry, there's a shopping list.
Yes.
One of the things is a shopping list. She's written, here's all the things I need being pregnant. I need diapers, newborn clothes, pacifiers, hospital bag, car seats, stroller, shower seats. It's a wish list for a mom. Here's all the things I need. Yes. If she's pregnant, how far along is she?
Even her, I think probably she's now 3 months. 3 months pregnant, maybe 12 or 13 weeks.
Okay, 12 or 13 weeks. Okay, prenatal care?
I tried to bring her to the clinic. She doesn't want to. In that way, they can ultrasound, they give a vitamin, something like that. But twice she declined.
So she's getting no prenatal care?
No.
John, you're the adoptive father here.
Yes, I am.
Since 4 years of age?
Correct.
Okay, and you both describe her as, at one point in her life, for most of her life, being very charming and fun,
yes,
dancing.
Yes, she loved to dance.
Very outgoing, energetic, engaging child, right?
That is correct.
When did this turn?
I think when she turned like middle school, like end of middle school, like 8th grade, she started.
And you think it's because she started hanging out with the wrong crowd?
Yes.
And now she is the wrong crowd.
She is the bad influence.
Right. Let me get a handle on this, because I made a list of, according to what you guys say are the most troublesome behaviors, just so I make sure I've got a handle on it. According to you guys, she's run away 3 times. She's driven your car without a license. She lies. She shoplifts. She sells stolen items that she didn't steal, but somebody gave to her. She fences them, essentially.
Yes.
She took your ID, pretended to be you, and rented an Airbnb. She's having unprotected sex, won't go to school, and sneaks out.
Yes.
Now, out of all of that, I'm really curious. What's been your primary reaction to these things?
Every time, we're like all surprised every time she do something like this. And sometimes I'm questioning, like, she's been in psychiatric hospital.
But what do you do about it?
We took like cell phone. We take it off from the Wi-Fi. We took her door. Yeah. So I can always see what she's doing.
What are you willing to do?
Anything we can to get our daughter back on track, because right now she's headed down the wrong path and seems to be in a steep nosedive to nowhere.
Well, you're not really willing to do anything because you really haven't done anything. You said we've tried everything. That's not true. The one thing that she's shown any judgment about whatsoever was taking steps to protect herself sexually. And so you went in her room and took those safeguards and threw them away.
But see, we didn't give her those condoms. We didn't give her permission.
No, you took them away.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we took them away.
And she shoplifted the condoms before. She could shoplift again. There was no way to prevent that. But we didn't take away resources.
Why take them away? Because you wanted her to have unprotected sex?
No, we wanted her to stop.
Yeah,
that'll work.
Yes.
What can I say?
Yeah,
we're not perfect parents. We're still learning as we go. I see your point. I absolutely do.
And I think because probably we're very conservative people. And I know right now we have to, I think, face that reality.
But you understand, taking them away doesn't flip off the sex button.
I know.
Understood.
I mean, you wish it would. Honestly, I get it. I guess you wish it would.
Right. And, we discovered these, and it was like, well, what are we going to do? And we made a snap decision, and we acted on it without thinking of those long-term consequences, without thinking that...
Well, I'm just saying this for the future.
Absolutely. Yes. And I see your point. I understand it.
Yeah.
All right, got you. All right, Mary Beth and John say they have seen both positive and negative pregnancy test results from their 15-year-old daughter. But Marie showed one of my producers something that she claims will answer her parents' questions once and for all. I'm going to show you what that is when we come back. She has actually threatened violence against you. She says she's involved with these gangbangers and they will go on an assassin run and come and kill you all. And later, if that ever does come up, you call me second. You call your lawyer first, you call me second.
Will do, sir. Thank you.
Because you shouldn't be living under that kind of fear.
I get the result from your first checkup. It's negative.
That's not true.
Then this will tell the truth.
Give me water.
Why will I give you water? I need pee.
So I can pee.
You're being smart aleck to us. Okay, we didn't take you to the hospital. Go there, check your urine now. If you prove to me that you're pregnant, then I will believe.
Medical appointments, like any expectant mother, prenatal visits. We got a nastygram saying you missed your appointments.
Mary Beth and her husband John say they are extremely concerned about their 15-year-old daughter Marie, who could be pregnant. She says she is, and she says she isn't. The problem is they have seen both positive and negative pregnancy test results, and they're just downright confused. But she showed us something that she claims her parents are not aware of. This is an alleged sonogram that she's taken, and this is her screensaver on her phone. She's now made it her screensaver on her phone. Have y'all seen this?
I have not.
You haven't seen it?
She always hide the phone from us.
Yeah. Well, she showed it to our producer really quick and then snatched it away. And we got a quick snap of it, and there's a glare, and it's kind of fuzzy because it was kind of like,
yeah.
But if you look at it, this would be the head, and then the body would come down here and back around like that. And she says that she's about 12 weeks. Okay, well, we spoke to some physicians, some OBGYNs, and we had them look at this, as poor an image as it is, and do some comparisons here. And this is, when you look at this is a 12-week-old sonogram for a 12-week-old, and then this is the sonogram for a 22-week-old. And they said, in their trained opinion, the formation of the head here suggests that if this is a legitimate sonogram, and it is her sonogram, that she is more likely in the second trimester and 22 weeks pregnant, not 12. Now, who knows if that's her sonogram or not? If it had been a good enough image, we would have been able to scan it and test it and see if she pulled it off the internet and just claimed it as her own, because I've done a number of fake pregnancy scams here, and they do that. They go on the internet and they pull off fake sonogram pictures and claim them as her own. And her picture doesn't have her name. See the code numbers on the others where it has patient identifying information and all? None of that's on hers. So it might be hers and it might not. But the trained professionals say that whoever it is, they're more likely 22 weeks. And I tell you that to tell you this. If that's true, she's in the 22nd week, and there's no prenatal care here.
Yeah.
And that's just irresponsible. That's just terrible. If she's doing drugs, if she's drinking, and she's not getting proper prenatal care, that could be creating real high-risk scenarios for this child.
And we've made that effort. We've acted under the assumption that she is pregnant. We have scheduled medical visits that she has worked to avoid. We had one day coordinated with her to pick her up from school, to take her to a medical appointment. Her response was to skip class and leave the campus. So that we got there, she was nowhere around.
No, her response has been worse than that, actually. She has actually threatened violence against you, right?
Yes.
Are you aware of this?
I've had inklings of that. Her mother discovered her journal and took images of those pages and showed them to me. I don't have copies. I didn't read them completely, but I did see some very dark things in there.
Yeah, she says she's ganged up at this point.
Yeah.
And that she's involved with these gangbangers, and that at any time that you take her away and that she fails to report in with her gang-banging buddies, that they will automatically go on an assassin run and come and kill you all.
I don't believe that for a moment.
Yeah.
I think those are the dark fantasies of a angry teenage girl.
Yeah.
Well, according to her, she has been hanging with these gangbangers. She has witnessed them murder, rob, beat people, to death. And if that's true, I'm sure she's going to be a real gang favorite when they find out that she is going around telling everybody this and writing it down so it can be given to the authorities. And it wouldn't be very hard to find out who this gang is, which then now gives the police probable cause to fall on them like a ton of bricks. So I'm sure she's going to be a real favorite with that bunch.
Yeah, we hope she doesn't cross anybody like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but this, again, she's just not thinking. You know, you don't.
She's not.
It's true.
You just don't do that. So exactly what did 15-year-old Marie do when she ran away? Why did she leave? We'll be right back. You are in a very vulnerable position here. If this child decides to fabricate some story, you're going to be guilty until proven innocent. And later...
Honestly, I'm not denying that I hit the car.
Honestly, I'm not denying I hit the car. Case closed. Lassie could prosecute this case. She just admitted it on videotape. Yes, I took your car and ran into stuff with it.
My daughter Marie is out of control.
It doesn't matter. We say yes or no.
Our entire household is walking on eggshells.
My daughter is always moody all the time. I'm always scared to approach her. She's like boss in our house.
Give me water.
We have no influence with this girl. We have no leverage with her. She's holding all the cards.
We're back with John and his wife, Mary Beth. Now, they say they're frustrated that they can't seem to control their 15-year-old daughter Marie's behavior, which includes stealing, running away, and possibly getting pregnant due to having unprotected sex. If you were looking at this from the outside in, it would seem odd that a child is running roughshod over adults, right?
Yes.
I mean, until you're in the barrel, it seems odd, right? What's your profession, John?
I'm an employee of the federal government, IT specialist.
Uh-huh. You have a lot of responsibilities, right?
Yes, I do. What we do is critical to a large segment of our population.
Yeah, and don't give me any details because you might have to kill me. I understand. But I mean, you're a very responsible professional and charged with a lot of responsibilities. And but you got a 15-year-old jerking you around like you're on a string. And I want to talk to you separate from you because you mentioned something earlier, and I want to be very selfish on your behalf right now. You are in a very vulnerable position here because if this child decides to go and fabricate some story that you have molested her, beaten her, done all manner of things, the system is designed to believe and protect her. And until otherwise proven, you're not going to be innocent until proven guilty. You're going to be guilty until proven innocent.
That is absolutely correct. And that has crossed my mind. She has never done anything like that or threatened to do anything like that, but I know that she could ruin my career and take away my livelihood with a word.
Two things are apparent to me. Number one, she's fully capable of doing that. And number two, if I was going to make a list of 1,000 guys that would be guilty of what she might accuse you of, I was going to say you would be at the bottom of the list. You wouldn't even be on the list. So I want to go on record right now as saying that she could do a lot of things. She's made terroristic threats against you, both to have you murdered. And you don't take those seriously, but we know where her mind goes. Yeah. So for her mind to go here is fully possible. And should that ever come up, I want you to take a copy of this and hand it to the people that this is something that is not atypical for this kind of a teenager in this kind of a situation. And if that ever does come up, you call me second. You call your lawyer first, you call me second.
Will do, sir. Thank you.
Because you shouldn't be living under that kind of fear.
There's a lot of scratches. What have you been hitting?
I think you're missing the point. The conversation is, you stole my car. And later...
How are you doing in here? You're not going anywhere, so take it. There's no negotiating. Take the test.
Right now, she's resisting taking the test. Okay, while we're in commercial break, who here has listened to one of my podcasts? Raise your hand. Uh-huh. The rest of you I'll see after the show. Look, you do want to be part of my podcast community. It's at Dr. Phil Podcast. It's on Twitter, Instagram, and Dr. Phil in the Blanks. That's PHIL in the Blanks on Facebook. And I read all of your comments, including this from Jasmine, said, when is the next episode going to be available? I'm on the edge of my seat with this case. What she's talking about is my true crime podcast. And the one I'm doing right now is called The Devil Beside Me, the Chris Watts story. Husband, father, killer. You all remember the Chris Watts story, right? He's a family annihilator. He killed his wife, Shanann. She was pregnant with their son, Nico. And then he killed his two innocent children, Bella and Celeste. I remember Bella's last words are, you aren't going to do to me, Daddy, what you did to Cece, are you? And it's just horrific what he did. And I'm doing a very deep analysis on what happened. This is in my podcast called Mystery and Murder Analysis by Dr. Phil. It's a series, and in episode 5, the final chapter, which is just out now, it's really talking about what Chris's life is like in prison now. He's making bizarre claims that he sees and speaks to his dead family. And there's a new woman in his life. Who would want to date this guy? But there are even more unbelievable revelations to come. Episode 5 is available now. Brandy wrote to me on Twitter saying, Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico will always be in my mind and heart. I will never forget their names and faces. I will never stop praying for her family. If you want to hear all the episodes, download and subscribe for free on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app like Stitcher. You can find more at drphilpodcast.com. And when you go there, you'll also find my wife's new podcast as well called I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw. And she has way too much fun on that podcast. Let's get back to today's episode. I've got to point some things out to you. Look, I believe this about parenting. I think we should avoid confrontation with our children at every possible turn. Always avoid confrontation. You want to influence, redirect, motivate, inspire, do everything you can. Avoid head-to-head confrontation at every turn. But if you cannot, do not ever lose. Do not ever lose, not one time, not ever, because when you do, you're working for them. And I want to point something out here, and I've pulled these videos out to show you what I'm talking about. She took your car, okay? Now, this is the conversation you had about that. So let's take a look at this.
There's a lot of scratches. What have you been hitting?
I'm not denying that I hit the car.
Yeah, because you can't deny.
Okay, now listen to this again here.
There's a lot of scratches. What have you been hitting?
I think you're missing the point. The conversation is, you stole my car.
Yeah.
And you say, I've done everything. No, you haven't. That's what we call grand theft auto. That's what we call grand theft auto. And when a child says, okay, You can kiss my ass. I'm going to do whatever I want to. Take my phone. Tell me you're going to take my computer. Take the hinges off of my door. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I'm running things around here. Oh, really? You just stole my car. That's grand theft auto. Tell it to the judge. If they want to put it at that level, you have to be able to go to that level.
No, Mary Beth had to talk me out of calling the police that night because that was my first inclination. Yeah, and when we confronted her at the door upon her return, I said, give me the car keys. You stole my car.
I stopped him for calling the police.
Let's go on.
Honestly, I'm not denying that I hit the car.
Yeah, because you...
Honestly, I'm not denying I hit the car. Case closed. Lassie could prosecute this case. She just admitted it on videotape. Yes, I took your car and ran into stuff with it. I don't want to put your daughter in jail. I don't want your daughter to go to jail. That's your daughter's choice, not yours. You have made every reasonable attempt to handle this inside the family, to say, look, we're going to have some rules here, and you're going to have to play by them. And if she tells you to go jump in the damn lake and you're living there with the threat of losing your career and you going to jail, I did a story with a girl months from her age who put her father in jail twice. But she steals your car and wrecks it, which, by the way, you're liable for whoever she ran into because you own the car, you have the insurance, and you also have foreseeability, because it's happened before and you know it and you did nothing about it. Mary Beth and John sent lots of security cam footage, and I'm going to take a very close look and reveal to them some serious behavior issues that they overlooked. And I'm not talking about their daughter. That's next.
Allison, can you get a pillow and a blanket, please? We're not leaving. And if she's not taking it, she'll sleep on the floor in the bathroom. Thank you. There you go.
My daughter's attitude towards me has changed. She no longer calls me Papa. She refers to me by my first name, John. She says I'm her stepfather. One time my daughter was at her friend's house and told that family that she was being abused at home. That family called the police. I'm very afraid of what my daughter might do next.
At night, we lock our room. I'm always scared she's gonna steal something.
I'm afraid of what she might do. She might claim that I touched her inappropriately, and next thing you know, I'm gonna be face down on the ground with a cop's knee on the back of my neck.
Well, I'm afraid for you, John. John says that he is afraid of his own daughter, and Mary Beth can't sleep because she has to guard the house so her 15-year-old daughter won't escape. Now, she said something interesting. She said, the reason I'm laughing all the time when they're telling me something is because they're the ones that should be afraid. Because I've got the power and I got the muscle. They mess with me, they're going to pay. Now, are these the grandiose rantings of somebody living in fantasy land? Maybe so. There's another video that I wanted to point out. This is when you were talking to her in bed.
A way to make easy money. This guy will help you make easy money. Sometimes they would find stuff for us and then we would go sell it for more.
Don't you know maybe those stuff they give to you are stolen?
We knew.
We knew. So again, this wild, wise, and worldly teen has now confessed again on videotape that yes, I have been in receipt of stolen goods and then fencing them. Those are two independent felonies. On top of grand theft auto, so she doesn't quite have the leverage here that she thinks she does. But as long as you play this the way you're playing it, she thinks she's holding all of the cards and she's running you two around like she's got a cattle prod. and she's out of control because she has a misperception about how things are going. Now, this is not a good parenting strategy. I would never recommend this if you had done some things differently before now. Just so you know, I'm going to write on this for you, just so you know, out of her behavior, driving a car without a license, that's criminal behavior. Shoplifting, criminal behavior. Selling stolen items, criminal behavior. Fraud with credit card, criminal behavior. That's identity theft, criminal behavior. Failing to go to school, truancy, criminal behavior. Those are all crimes. They're all prosecutable conduct on her part. You've scolded her. You've grounded her. You've put up security cameras, I guess because you just want to watch her commit crimes. I don't know. You don't do a damn thing about it. You just say, yep, there she goes. Yep, here she comes. She takes your car, you do nothing about it. Don't you do that anymore. Give me your phone. No. Okay. She's just stonewalling you. That means she's precipitating a confrontation. You have to take it to the next level.
And we want her to straighten her life out early before she goes too far down that wrong path.
Yeah, because she's real close to being considered an adult. And once she commits these crimes as an adult, you don't even get a vote. She gets in your car and hits a woman with a baby carriage in a crosswalk, you become observers. You lose all control then. Marie told producers that she's not happy with all of her parents' rules. Well, I'm not happy with her behavior. We've got the tail wagging the dog here, and I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen next.
How are you doing in here? You're not going anywhere, so take it. There's no negotiating. Take the test.
Right now, she's resisting taking the test.
My daughter Marie had essentially everything that we could provide for her. She had her own room, her own television, her own cell phone, sleepovers.
She have an expensive party if she wants party.
I was the softy parent. I was the teddy bear, the pushover.
I'm the mean one. I'm the one like always screaming in the house, yelling. I'm always been the strict one.
I'm afraid that my little girl is gone forever. The sweet, happy little girl that I adopted and raised has been replaced by a hostile stranger.
Well, 15-year-old Marie told our producers that she doesn't get along with her parents, doesn't want to follow their rules, so she's just basically doing what she wants to do. Now, she's not out here. She's back in the green room. I'm not going to bring her out here, but I am willing to go chat with her for a few minutes with y'all's permission.
Please do.
Please do.
And I wouldn't talk to her without your permission. But I'm interested in what her attitude is. After our conversation, I think you probably realize you've tried everything that you can do in the normal course of parenting, but she's gone outside the normal course of behavior. And she's the one dictating what happens at this point. Are you willing to do whatever is necessary to protect her from herself?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, if it requires pulling the trigger on some of these things and having her held accountable, are you prepared to do that, or are you going to go back home and let her continue to do what she's doing?
No, we want to help her, and we understand that if nothing changes, we're going to go back to the same old situation we're in now.
But I don't want to go back there and talk to her if you don't have the appetite for doing what it takes to get her under control.
We will. We will try our best to, face the consequences. It's hard, but we will try.
Your enthusiasm is underwhelming.
We will.
She's going to have every opportunity to modulate her behavior and participate. I'll provide family counseling. I'll do everything I can to give her an opportunity to ameliorate these consequences. But if she doesn't, she has to understand when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences, and they are dire. You're in danger, John. I'm worried. I've seen it. I'm just worried for you. You don't deserve to have someone like this ruin your life.
No, and let's not lose sight of the fact that we love our daughter and we want what's best for her. And we're really conflicted. We're really torn because we have this stranger in our house engaging in criminal activity, hostile. She's separated herself from her family. She no longer interacts with us. And, you know, we're frustrated. We're out of options. We don't know what else to do.
I'm going to go talk to her.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
We are all out of time today, but there's a lot more to deal with here. I'm headed backstage now. I heard that Marie isn't sure if she even wants to meet me, let alone talk to me. Well, we'll see about that.
Next time on Dr. Phil.
You got 10 seconds to sit down and talk to me, and if you don't, you're not going to believe what happens next.
She's 15.
You've confessed to multiple felonies on tape.
Out of control.
Grand theft auto, credit card fraud, theft of identification. And are you pregnant? She needs to take a pregnancy test. She needs to take it today.
And hours later,
she took the test.
The shocking results.
I don't understand.
That's next time.
And now, check out this one Twitter message that was recently sent to me. Keelan tweeted out to me to say, if I had to pick one TV show to watch for the rest of my life, I would pick yours hands down. I don't know if you would stay with it for the whole life, but I'll give you the shot. Log on to drphil.com and share your thoughts about today's show. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you next time.
Today on Dr. Phil, they claim their brother is a mooch.
My mom needs to cut the cord.
Ben's a 33-year-old man. You say he's got the chore thing down. You should have covered that when he was 4. What's happened to those cars?
Crashed, one was on fire.
Is there something I'm missing? You don't reward
bad behavior.
You're not requiring him to stand up like a man and do what he needs to do. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Samantha and her sister say their mother, Stacy, is very successful as a special education teacher and behaviorist. But when it comes to parenting their brother, Ben, well, they say that's another story. You see, they say Stacy allows Ben to shirk his chores, lay by the pool while on his phone, and basically does nothing while his mom handles his life for him. Sounds like every other teen these days, right? Well, Ben's not a lazy 16-year-old. He's a 33-year-old man. And his sisters say their mom needs to cut the cord. Take a look.
He sits out here for hours, but he won't clean up anything unless I ask him to specifically. It's just ridiculous.
My mom is absolutely an enabler of my brother.
My brother's very clingy. He's like a barnacle on a ship.
Ben, absolutely 100% living scot-free with my mother. My mother pays for his cigarettes, food, for his insurance, his child support payment.
One time, in order for Ben to walk his sister down the aisle at her wedding being held in Mexico, I had to pay $4,300 in back child support so he could be cleared to go to his sister's wedding.
One time my brother was in a very toxic relationship and my mother literally offered to pay him to come live with her.
And now he's showing up from, that's his driver who he pays $20 a week for his ride.
After my brother's second DUI, my mother even paid for his ankle bracelet. My brother does not contribute to household chores in any way.
I said, clean your room, and there it is. This is his closet.
I require my 2-year-old and my 5-year-old to complete more chores than my brother.
My mother has purchased about 6 or 7 cars for my brother over the years. Ben has literally wrecked every car that he's ever been given, except for one where he took huge rocks and threw them at the car until it was completely unusable. All because he was mad at his girlfriend. My mom tells him she's not gonna buy him another car, and then my mom will do it again.
I was thinking of buying him a truck.
My brother borrows so much money from my mother, and he's always promising to give it back to her. It never happens. One time, Ben and a friend stole about $26,000 from my mother.
She doesn't want to believe it, and I get why, but it's almost like we're not living in the same reality.
My mother is doing my brother an absolute disservice.
My mom needs to cut the cord, and she needs to cut it now.
But Stacy hasn't been living solo with her son. Well, actually, she is now, because her husband, Doug, he said he'd had enough and moved out until his stepson is kicked to the curb.
I believe Stacy's whole world revolves around Ben. She reminds Ben constantly of the things that he needs to accomplish daily. She manages his time and his money. I believe it's something a grown man should be able to do. Ben makes Stacy feel sorry for him. Because of that, Stacy constantly gets manipulated. Even though Ben's license is revoked, Stacy still gives Ben the keys to the car so he can drive. I've helped Ben get jobs multiple times, 4 different jobs at 4 different companies, because drinking alcohol affected his work performance and he did not live up to expectations. One time Ben was driving a forklift and drove the forklift right into the drain valve of a glycol tank and sheared the valve off. We lost about 100 gallons of glycol, which is similar to antifreeze. When I first heard about it, the first thing that crossed my mind was Ben was probably drinking. I was very frustrated because people at work knew that Ben was related to me, and he put my job in jeopardy. There's a lot of friction and tension in the house. That's when I left. Ben continues to live with his mom and nothing changes. The relationship will end.
Well, joining me in studio is Ben's sister, Samantha, and joining us virtually via Ionico is Ben's other sister, Sarah, and his stepfather, Doug, via Skype. So welcome to all 3 of you.
Hi.
People will notice after 18 years, the spacing here is a lot different because we're respecting social distancing.
Correct.
We got a problem, right? I mean, I'll start with you since you're here. What's going on?
They have an extremely dysfunctional relationship. She continues to give endlessly and gets little to nothing in return.
We're not talking about a young man here.
No.
He's 32, going on 33.
Right.
And he has children of his own, right?
He does.
He doesn't have custody of these children.
No, sir. Honestly, I think it's because he understands that he can't take care of himself. So how could he take care of them?
Doug, you said, I've had enough. You couldn't take it anymore. You just moved out. Tell me why. What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Well, there's a lot of friction in the household. Stacy and Ben argue a lot about chores that he's supposed to be doing, about money issues, about alcohol, and there's just a lot of tension, a lot of friction. And it's just, for me, I'm not used to that kind of environment. And so I decided to leave.
Sarah, have you confronted him about this?
I confronted my brother when my 3-year-old at the time picked up a cup of vodka that my brother had left within his reach and drank some and spit it out and started crying.
And you made an interesting statement that really stuck out to me. You said that you require your 2-year-old to do more than your mom requires this 32-year-old brother to do.
Yes, sir. We're a military household, and my boys do chores. Doesn't matter their age.
When we come back, Stacy says even though housing Ben is keeping her from retirement, there is no way she can put her only son on the street. She has even watched all the Dr. Phil episodes about moochers and enablers, and yet she still keeps buying this grown man cars. So obviously I've had a profound effect on her thinking.
I just watched the episode with the parents with the 31-year-old who had gotten 6 cars, and I couldn't believe it.
Since he was 16, you've purchased not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 cars.
Correct.
You don't look like slow learners. No, really, you 6 times? It's like Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown. I know, I promise. It'll be here. 6 times you've bought him cars, and 6 times he's lied to you. I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna pay for this, I'm gonna do this. Come on. Come on.
I bought Ben 7 cars. I'm pretty sure when I talk to Dr. Phil, he's gonna nail me.
Well, Stacy says her family accuses her of babying and enabling her adult son, Ben, which she admits she may be doing just a little too much. We're going to really discuss what little too much means. But Stacy says things like trying to get Ben to eat his veggies and teaching him how to pay his bills may not appear like rational thinking, but they are all part of her getting Ben to stand on his own 2 feet. Well, how's that working? Let's take a look.
I ask and I ask, and not just this year or last year, but many years, I ask, don't throw your cigarettes down. I don't want to pick up your icky cigarettes.
At this point, I couldn't kick Ben out in the street because there's no place for Ben to go.
Well, it's just going to go right into his room. There it is.
Ben is currently living in one of my spare bedrooms. He's not paying rent and not paying any utilities.
He sits out here for hours looking at his phone, smoking cigarettes.
Ben spends most of his time in 1 or 2 places, either outside or in his room.
This is my son's array of his main food that he eats.
I go grocery shopping because I know exactly what he likes, and I'm controlling his spending.
This is the dirt that he let stay there.
It's very hard to get Ben to do chores.
Look at the water has to be changed. The floor has to be swept. This is disgusting. That he'll sit there and he'll get on his phone and he will just ignore all of this.
I will ask Ben multiple times to clean the weeds out of the front, to do the watering, to take the garbage out, mow the lawn, to do the pool.
If he's one more towel on the floor, I'm gonna kill him.
He'll say, okay, and I come back to check and it's not done. That drives me absolutely crazy. He doesn't really respect my rules. A couple months ago, I woke up hearing some noises outside of my door.
I walked out here around 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm hearing a bunch of noises out there. I'm not really sure what they are.
And I yelled out, Ben, are you there? Yes, I'm here. I said, do you have company? Yes, I have company. Shouldn't you be getting her home? Okay, Mom. Come to find out the next morning, he was outside my door having sex. Oh, that's extremely disrespectful. Ben knows exactly how to spin me around to get money from me or things from me. I've paid for cars that have been smashed, child support. The list goes on and on. I've probably spent over $100,000.
Because Ben drinks and he's had 2 DUIs, I put my foot down and said he either needs to get out of my house or give me all his cards. Again, I'm treating him like he's 3 years old.
Because I spent so much money on Ben, I've had to come out of retirement. I'm tired, I'm really depressed, and I feel like I've hit the wall. But as Ben's mother, I cannot give up on him.
Yeah, Stacy, thank you for being here, because you don't have to be here. You could be doing something else. So you're here for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
You watch me quite a bit.
Yeah, I take about 8 shows a day.
So finish this sentence. You don't reward
bad behavior.
Good. A+. You don't reward bad behavior. What does that mean to you?
Well, in my job, it means one thing, but with my son, I guess I'm really not very observant, because most of the time my daughters have to show me and point it out to me that he's manipulating, or that he's actually trying to get something from me, or that he's trying to get over on me. I don't really see it. I really haven't seen it.
And you say it's easy to do in your job, but not at home.
Absolutely. What
is your job?
I'm an infant development specialist, and I work with 0 to 3 children, especially children that have behavioral issues.
So you shape the behavior of young people?
Yes.
So how long have you been at this career?
35 years.
So generally at 35 years, people think about, hey, great ride, I think I'll retire, put my feet up, and enjoy the fruits of my labor.
I would love to do that. I actually really would, but I still haven't.
Had you planned to retire about now?
I had planned about 2 years ago, but Ben came home about 2 years ago.
So you're now working for Ben?
Huh? Excuse me?
You're now working for Ben?
No, not you. That was for her. I'm not working for Ben. I mean, I'm not working for Ben.
Well, if it wasn't for Ben, you wouldn't be working.
I suppose that's true. Yeah, I suppose that's true.
You would have retired 2 years ago.
I would have retired a couple years ago. Yes, I would have.
Right.
I'm
He's
working,
the reason you're working.
I'm working to get Ben back up on his feet so he can be independent.
And how's that working for you?
I've heard this a few times. It's not working very good. It really isn't.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, he's still there, and he hasn't acquired any of the skills that he's supposed to have in order to be independent. It's like dragging a dead body across the room because he's not participating to the level that he should be participating. I guess because he's anticipating I'm going to be filling in all the rest that he needs. He's just going to wait and sit back and let me do most of it.
Because you do.
I think he had a tough childhood, and if he didn't have so many things going against him, he probably would be more on top of things and be more independent. But nobody has, I've told my daughters, who could withstand, okay, this always upsets me, but who could withstand the type of things he's withstood?
I understand that you feel guilty about some things that Ben has been through earlier in his life. And so do you pick on disadvantaged people generally?
No, absolutely not.
Well, then why are you doing it to your son?
I don't think I really saw it that way.
You don't think you're doing that?
I keep thinking that I'm continuing helping him, showing, I say in effect that I'm still parenting him.
Really?
That's what I feel like I was doing, is still parenting. Because I think there's things that he still hasn't gotten, so as long as, to help him with his finances, or to make sure he's got the job thing down and he's got the chore thing down, but there's just
he's
so many more.
32 years old and you say he's got the chore thing down. You should have covered that when he was 4. But let me ask you something. The sacrifices you're making, not only just continuing to work, but the things you're doing daily while he's laying by the pool and being drunk and irresponsible, the sacrifices you're making financially, energy-wise, are they causing him to be better prepared for the next level of life?
Well, we haven't seen any results so far.
That's not an essay question.
No, that's not. It's not. No, I have not seen any results that would.
So the sacrifices you're making are not helping.
No,
okay.
they're not.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask her a very pivotal question that is probably going to be outcome determinative about the rest of her life. We'll be right back.
Ben's father would be grabbing him around the neck. At boarding school, they would all gang up and beat him up. It just really ripped my heart out. The guilt is overwhelming.
So one time my mother had this crazy idea to pawn my brother off on my sister.
She sent him all the way across the country to come live with me. Having my brother at the house was like watching a grown child that can smoke and drink. He was lazy and he didn't do any of the chores around the house. I paid for the majority of the groceries, I paid for the utilities, and the majority of the rent. He eventually got a job but found excuses not to pay his part. One time, Ben gave my rent money away to the neighbors. Another time, he refused to walk the 26 steps up to the front office to pay our rent when I was on deployment. It hurt my credit and it almost got me kicked out of the Navy. After 6 months, I ended up calling my mother and telling her that if she didn't take him back, that I was going to move out of my apartment and leave him homeless.
Sarah says that at one point she agreed to take her brother Ben off of her mother Stacy's hands. But Sarah says she quickly learned Ben was not exactly an ideal roommate, so back to mom he went. Now, Stacy says a lot of her patience and generosity towards Ben comes from the guilt that she has over his childhood.
I have always been there for Ben when he's needed me, and I've always protected him. He's been rejected by everyone, except for his grandmother and myself. Because Ben had ADHD, he was totally misunderstood. I remember him crying himself to sleep when he was in kindergarten because no one would play with him. It breaks your heart.
My mom does make up excuses for why she chooses to enable my brother. She says it's out of guilt because he's had a rough lot in life. He has ADHD, so she overcompensates by continuously letting him maintain this bad behavior.
This child has been up against insurmountable things in his life. Ben experienced abuse from his father. He was thrown against the wall. His father would be grabbing him around the neck, throwing him onto the ground. I felt if I contacted CPS, they'd take all 3 of my children and I'd never get them back. Because Ben was constantly being abused, I had to get him into a boarding school. While Ben was at boarding school, they were doing horrendous things to him. They starved him, made him eat alone, and they would all gang up and beat him up. My intentions were good, but in the end, it just really ripped my heart out that I'd sent him to a torture chamber.
Ben brought up the boarding school countless times. He's brought up my dad and the abuse that he endured. When he's doing this, my mom sits there and takes it. She cries because she thinks that she deserves it.
My brother takes advantage of that.
The guilt is overwhelming. I have guilt all the time. I feel like I'm the only one that did this to him. I really do. I wish I could go back and redo it, and his life would be different, and he'd be a different kid.
Okay, listen, I'm very sorry that that happened to Ben. Look, clearly what happened to him had an impact, right? It leaves you with a void.
Absolutely.
And so what do? You have to fill that void. But let me ask you something. Let's say you had an infant, and this infant was crawling along here, and the infant saw a toy they wanted, and so they started maybe for the first time to go, oh, wow, I can kind of get up and stand up. Would you come along and say, no, stay down, let me get the toy, and I'll give it to you?
Absolutely not.
And then if they were crawling along and they saw something they wanted to eat, and it was up on a little child-safe shelf, and they started to pull themselves up, would you go, no, here, you stay on the floor, I'll put it down here so you don't have to pull yourself up? You wouldn't do that, would you?
Absolutely not.
Then why are you doing it with your son now? You're not requiring him to pull himself up to get what he wants. You're not requiring him to stand up like a man and do what he needs to do, which you wouldn't do to an infant. You would require more from an infant crawling on the floor than you are from your... Doug, help me out.
Ben needs to stand on his 2 feet. He's, 32 years old, soon to be 33, and the enabling needs to stop, and he needs to grow up.
And my theory is you're doing that to make yourself feel better, not to help Ben. And that is a selfish thing to do.
Yeah.
The hell with you. I want to feel better today, so I'm going to buy you how many cars?
6, 7.
7 cars. And what's happened to those cars?
Some were crashed, some were sold, one was on fire. He's
destroyed them all.
They've been destroyed.
Dr. Phil, he's never had a car for more than a year.
Is there something I'm missing?
I guess I don't want him to fail or hurt anymore. And I didn't see it as something that was selfish on my part. I don't want him to hurt.
It's negligent and it's selfish. You know that. Come on.
I know that, but it's my child.
Read that for me.
Negligence, failure to do what a reasonable person would do under the same or similar circumstance.
Would a reasonable person buy this young man 7 cars when he's destroyed them all?
I kept feeling like if he got a car, he could get up and get going and take himself to work.
I understand that once, maybe even twice. Would a reasonable person continue to buy this young man automobiles when he destroys them all?
That's not reasonable. It's not reasonable.
A reasonable person would not do that under the same or similar circumstances.
No, not 7 cars, no.
He does not pull his weight, and in the last week, she has had to pick up after him. She makes him dinner. She's even done his laundry right before we came.
I don't make him dinner.
You said that you make Ben?
Well, she probably doesn't make him dinner because she's looking for trucks to buy him. She's thinking about buying him an 8th vehicle. But from smoking pot to DUIs and ADHD, Ben says there are a number of obstacles keeping him from success. So let's talk to Ben himself right after the break.
My mentality holds me back sometimes. I shoot myself down a lot.
Well, it's been 2 years since Ben says he was left no choice but to move in with his mother, rent-free, something he says he's not proud of. But Ben says that he's not taking advantage of his mother's hospitality and kindness. He's just stuck in a rut.
My mom helps me out a lot. She's always had my back. She's always helped me whenever I needed any kind of help.
My brother and my mother have an extremely toxic relationship. She gives and he takes. It's purely one-sided.
In a perfect world, I would be making my own way, not having to be at mom's house, not having to ask for things, not feeling like I'm 10 when I'm 33 years old. I feel stuck.
My brother plays the victim. He acts like he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing as an adult.
I am a functioning alcoholic. It's not good, but I'm not drunk throughout the day. My first DUI was last year. I was coming home from work, and I went through the stop sign and I hit a tractor trailer because I was inebriated. I did go to jail just overnight. My second DUI, I was on that same stretch of road. Being a little intoxicated, I spun, went across oncoming lane. I went through a telephone pole. Police showed up, realized that I had been drinking. Once again, I had to go to jail. It is tough to get a job right now because smoking marijuana has become an obstacle. It helps me sleep, get motivated to do things. But if somebody were to offer me a job tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to pass a drug test.
A 32-year-old adult should be able to hold down a job for more than a year. He would rather do what feels comfortable, which is relying on my mother and using his addiction as a crutch.
My mentality holds me back sometimes. I shoot myself down a lot. I turn down good opportunities that I really shouldn't.
You got a place to live, you got somebody to take care of you, she does your shopping, cooks your meals. So I don't ask myself why you're not doing different. I ask myself, why not? I mean, why would you?
I do feel like I'm stuck, and I do tell myself that I can't do a lot of things, and I believe that does have to stem back from the boarding school, and I believe that I do use things as an excuse not to move forward. It is comfortable living at home.
And you say it's really not free. You pay back by doing chores, right?
I work around the house, yes.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that.
I ask and I ask many years. I ask, don't throw your cigarettes down. I don't want to pick up your icky cigarettes. This is his closet. Yeah. I say, clean your room, and there it is. The water has to be changed. The floor has to be swept. This is disgusting. That he'll sit there and he'll get on his phone and he will just ignore all of this. There are 2 dogs that need to be walked every day. I expected Ben to walk the dogs, but now I have to walk them twice a day. If I leave one more towel on the floor, I'm gonna kill him.
If you were an employee, I'd fire you.
I believe you would.
Wouldn't you?
Yes.
But why don't you?
I just nag him instead. Remind him, nag him, push him. Try to get him to start doing the chores the appropriate way. Because I've always told my kids that whatever job you do, your signature is on it. And you should do it to the best of your ability. I just don't know why he hasn't.
You say that, but then you don't, there's no consequence that supports that.
I don't know what consequences to bring.
Ben has reasons for not succeeding. I went through and pulled out the reasons you gave us for not succeeding. I look at these and I say, well, this is a good example. DUIs took my license. I hate it when they do that. Those damn DUIs just took your license. Are you kidding me?
I gave myself the DUI. In turn, my license was lost because of myself. But
yeah, but that's the way you talk. I won't pass a drug test because I smoke pot. Then stop smoking pot.
Yes,
You say, well, it motivates me. No, it doesn't. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. It erodes your IQ. It erodes your motivation. It doesn't motivate you.
I've asked you every single time you come home when you get your ride home, are you high?
And
I have been a couple times.
And
yes,
you just
ma'am.
lie to me, and I keep telling you. I mean, what trust can we have? I mean, I don't know the truth, and so I got to keep. I know my suspicions are right. Why aren't you not telling me the truth when I ask you? I mean, I'm not.
Because I don't want to be yelled at, and if I mean.
You don't want to be lectured, is that it?
Yes, I didn't want to be lectured, and I wanted to.
But lying to me.
Seriously, I mean, what teen wants? I mean, sorry, what person wants to be lectured? There are two particularly important reasons Ben's family would like to see him man up. We're going to find out what they are after the break.
Every day I was beaten up. There were times that I had been hit with the logs, golf clubs, sticks, and rocks. They would take coals out of the stove and put them underneath my rear end. Going to the boarding school was the worst experience of my life.
Well, despite what his family may believe, Ben says living at home with his mother is not something that he wants to do. You say if you'd never gone to boarding school, your life wouldn't be where it is now. And if your dad hadn't been the way he was, things would be different. And certainly boarding school didn't work out for you. Let's take a look at that experience.
Boarding school was the worst experience of my life. My first day, not even maybe an hour there, I got beat up by 5 guys. Another guy took my feet and just drug them out from underneath me. So just yanking me all over the place. That was my first day. That's what set the tone for the entire 7-month stay. Every day I was beaten up. I was constantly being hit in some type of manner. A good day would be once. There were times that I had been hit with the logs thrown at my face, golf clubs, sticks, and rocks. One time, I got hit in the face with a headless copperhead snake. I had, blood from the snake all down the side of my face. I got hit so often that I could see somebody 10 feet or more away, and if they lifted their arms over their head for any reason, I would duck and put my hands up. Once they noticed that I was doing that, they would purposely just shove their hand in my face. So in the boarding school, they used physical training as a method of torture. One of the torturous things that I was made to do, what they called electric chair. They would make me put my back against the wall, and they would take coals out of the stove and put them underneath my rear end. Every day I just wanted to leave. I didn't want to get out of bed. After 7 months of being at the first school, I left that boarding school. I went to another one, but the same things were still going on. I was still getting beat up. My time there was miserable. The boarding school experience did cause damage. It lives with me till today, yes.
And you didn't get much better treatment from your father, correct?
No.
And he's on the phone. Joining us is Ben Sr. You admit you weren't a great father, correct?
No, I'm probably the worst. But I believe that most of the abuse that Ben imagined from the boarding school, he put on me because he didn't have anybody else to blame or attack at that time.
No, Dad, we were all in the house. No,
Don't even, my God, what I witnessed by throwing myself in between you and him and what you did to him, no way in dang hell
Dad, we
you're
were
going to get
all
away with
there.
that crap.
Are you denying the fact that you were abusive to your son?
Oh, no, I'm not denying that.
Since he was little.
Not at all. Not
I
at
couldn't
all.
even send him to
But
school.
When everybody else considers abuse, I consider it survival. I've never been abusive. I've never been arrested
God
for
help
being
me. God help me.
Then how come
abusive
I don't
at
swim
any
in
time
Mom's
or anything
pool?
like that.
How
But
come-
I've been sent to jail a number of times because Ben beat me up and then called the cops and turned me in.
It was about time he hit you back. The things you did to him still gives me nightmares. I don't even want my children around you.
Dad, I remember when he was like 11 and whatever it is he did, you started chasing him. He ran out the front door, made a circle back for the house, and before he got the screen door open, you pummeled him with your elbow and we couldn't get him out of that corner.
My
You know
head
what?
was being slammed against
I
the
feel
wall.
so bad about these things I don't remember.
You don't deny that you have been a negative impact and an abuser with your son.
I have, Dr. Still, I've probably been the most negative impact on all those people on your stage than anybody else in the world.
Well, I just wanted to confirm that because I have some things that I want to say to Ben, which I'm going to do right after the break. Thank you. one thing everyone can agree on is at 32 years old, Ben needs to stop living with and relying on his mother. And I want to add that you need to stop living in the past. A lot easier said than done, but if you live your life looking over your shoulder, then your past becomes your future. I don't mean to trivialize what's happened to you, nor do I mean to trivialize the impact that happens to someone when they are abused as a child. You had zero responsibility for that. You have zero blame for that, zero responsibility for that. You have 100% accountability for what you do about it now.
I've asked him to get another job so he could be more financially stable. He goes down and gets the application, but he doesn't do anything after that.
Not your job, not your problem. Let me ask you something. How do you think people get self-confidence?
By attaining things through their own merit.
Yeah, they observe themselves do that, right?
Yes.
You're cheating him out of observing himself master his environment.
Okay.
Because you don't give him the opportunity to do that.
Okay. You're right. But I didn't see that before. I thought I was helping. I thought I was doing what was needed because I love him. He's, and I just want him. Sometimes I think that he can't take one more failure.
No, you can't take him having one more failure. Right. That's what you're saying is, I feel so guilty because I didn't take him out of this abuse by his father. I feel so guilty because I sent him to a school where they picked on him. I feel so guilty that I didn't protect him when he couldn't protect himself, that I'm now going to make myself feel better by coddling him instead of letting him develop as a man.
Dr. Phil, even last night, I reminded, actually one of your staff reminded us that we had to wake up early, and so I just sent a message saying, make sure you're up. And she said, well, will you call your brother and have him call the front desk at the hotel room? We're not even staying in the same hotel room. And it's little things that she doesn't even notice she's doing herself. It's so second nature that if it's his success is her success, his failure is her failure, and she can't stop.
You help an 8-year-old child wake up. You don't help a 32-year-old man wake up.
I just was afraid that the show was important, and I didn't think he was going to wake up because he never, I got a call from one of your staff that, why isn't he answering me?
Do you really think this is about a wake-up call?
No, I don't think it's about a wake-up call for me, maybe, but not a wake-up call for him.
There you go. So where does Stacy and Ben go from here? I'm going to tell them what I think after the break, and I'm going to be very specific. Ben, you got to get your act together, buddy. Maybe you begin working someplace at an entry level and you do well and you bump up, then you bump up, then you bump up, then you bump up. I don't know, but you have to start somewhere, and you need to get out of his life and let him do it, because it's eroded your marriage, it's eroding your life, and if that was in some way going to give him a new lease on life, maybe you could make an argument that the sacrifice was worth it. I don't think so. But maybe you could make that. But the point is, it's not helping him. It's hurting him. Get him out and take 90 days to do it. That gives him time to save up some money, get a job, get a promotion at the job, do what he has to do. He needs to be in therapy every week, talking about the issues of life planning. He needs to do that, and you need to stay out of it. If you don't, that's okay. Just recognize that you're doing it to make yourself feel better at your son's expense.
Okay. I'll let him 90 days, he has to work it out.
If that's what you want to do.
I know.
Dr. Phil, this is not new to her. She watches you all the time.
Ben, you can do this. You just have to decide, you know what? I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. I'm going to work my way out of this and realize you've got 90 days to get and find a place. And if you find a roommate, find two, do whatever, live on your own. And you need to be in therapy every single week and take a copy of this and spend the first hour playing it for the therapist. All right, we have to stop. Look, I want to thank all of my guests today. Robin and I are so happy to be back in the studio safely. I hope you guys felt safe here today.
Very, very much.
We've kept our social distance, and
We've had
totally.
And I trust my staff has treated you safely and kindly
Yes,
every step of the way.
absolutely. They've been wonderful.
Okay.
And we've had 3 COVID tests.
All right,
in like
great.
5
They've been
days.
exceptional, yes.
All right, great. Sarah and Doug, thank you as well. It's been a long, meticulous road back here, but we did it. We ended last season taping shows from home with my one-man crew. Robin, she did camera, lights, makeup, cables, everything. She was engineer, lugging everything around, but we're back here with the best crew in television. It was incredible to watch, and my staff is so grateful to her as well for everything she did to keep us running from home. You can follow both of us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret. She has amazing guests on that podcast, some of the most innovative women on the globe today. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Today on Dr. Phil.
She claims her father is a violent, dangerous psychopath.
He would hit the dog. He would hit me sometimes.
I have never, ever beat a dog. I have never abused
How
it.
can you just literally say you lied to me?
Show me the police report. Show me where it has ever been shown that I have been abusive.
You know that he pled guilty to sexual assault with a minor.
Yes. He said he was forced to plead guilty.
Does your dad seem like somebody that would be forced into something?
No.
I didn't have any knowledge that she was underage.
Did you send her a text message?
Absolutely not.
How would there be a text message on your phone saying that you wanted to marry her when she turned 18 if you didn't send it? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Today's show is a tough one. 18-year-old McKinley says that 5 years ago, she decided that she never, ever wanted to see or speak to her father, Corey, again. She claims her father is a violent, dangerous psychopath who physically abused her, her mother, and her little sister throughout her childhood. But what McKinley says really pushed her over the edge was when she learned that in 2010, Corey went to jail for 150 days for 2 counts of sexual battery of a minor. Now, Corey is adamant he never abused anyone ever. He says he and McKinley had a wonderful relationship until she, and I quote, out of the blue, refused to see him. McKinley says the main reason she's here today is to bring national attention to the issue so she can protect her younger siblings who are still in her father's home. Take a look.
My dad is physically abusive and violent. My dad is really charming and sweet at first, but then once you get to know him, he is scary. He's very manipulative. He might be a psychopath / a pedophile. My friend told me my dad was arrested for having sex with underage girls. It made me really uncomfortable to be around him after that. At times, he can be creepy with me. He'd put his hands on my leg, and all he would say to me when I asked him to stop is that he's my dad and that he can do what he wants.
McKinley, where are we at?
Growing up, he would frequently hit my mom. He would scream at us, he would throw things, and he would punch holes in the walls. One time, he was freaking out again. My mom, my sister, and I were rushing out of the house. He threw a rock at my sister's eye and gave her a black eye. We all got in the car. She was crying. My window was rolled down, and he tried to drag me out of the window while we were backing out of the driveway. I honestly thought he was going to kill us eventually. My mom divorced him because the abuse was so bad. I didn't want to see him, but I was forced to, since he had partial custody, and I hated every second of being around him. Once he got remarried to my stepmom, we continued to witness abuse. One time, my sister and I and my stepbrother were all sitting in a room next to theirs. We could hear her crying and screaming, telling him to stop. We could hear him pushing my stepmom into walls, and she was pregnant. I decided to stop seeing my dad on my 13th birthday. Growing up, I thought abuse like that was normal, but the older I got, I realized that's not okay. I want to expose my dad and protect my family.
Okay, McKinley, I understand what you're saying, and you understand that your father is saying absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Okay, he says you have been brainwashed by your mother.
Yeah, he insists my mother has something to do with it, but my mom has never ever talked badly about him. He's the one that talks badly about my mother.
But she's not gotten you to the side and said, okay, you don't want to go spend visitation with your father when you were 13. You don't want to spend time with him. He's a bad guy. You know what parental alienation is.
Yes. When I chose not to see my father, she would actually ground me and take my phone for the weekends, because she had to punish me because I was supposed to be seeing him.
Okay, so she encouraged you to do it.
Yes.
Okay, and you say that this is a decision you made on your own, and you did this because of why? You've witnessed things, you've learned things. Why? Why all of a sudden, or is it all of a sudden that 5 years ago you said, I don't want to see him anymore?
Well, it all started when I was little. He was always abusive to me and my mother, and it was really scary for me to be around him ever since I was a younger kid. But he always said he would change and he was going to do better, but he progressively got worse over the years.
Okay, define abusive. When you say he was always abusive, what do you mean?
He would scream at us, he would hit the dog, he would hit my mom, he would throw things at us, he would hit me sometimes.
Okay, so you're talking about verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse.
Yes.
Okay, and if your mother knew that because she experienced it, why was she so encouraging of you to go see him, spend time with him visitation-wise?
Because she legally had to. I'm sure she didn't feel comfortable with us going to see him, but she didn't have an option.
Okay, so she was doing it out of compliance with court orders.
Yes.
But she never said to you, I'm scared for you, I'm worried about you, you just need to do this.
I could see she was worried in her eyes, but it's not like she could tell me to stop seeing him.
Okay. And you say you remember these things on your own and that it started as early as, what is your first remembrance? How early?
I was about 5 years old.
Okay. And what do you remember from then? What happened?
He was getting really violent, and it got to the point where we had to leave the house. And my mom just told me to grab whatever I need and to run out to the car. She got my little sister, and we were running to the car. And then he was chasing us, and he threw a rock at my little sister's eye and gave her a black eye. We jumped in the car. We're all crying, and the windows rolled down, and he tries to pull me out the window as we're backing out of the driveway.
Okay. Now, you're 5 at this age.
Yes.
And your little sister was how old?
3.
Okay, so she's 2 years younger, and he picks up a rock and throws it and hits her in the eye.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is he going to remember any of this?
I think he does remember it, but he claims to not, and whenever I mention anything about his past abuse, he calls me delusional.
So he's just going to say you're just lying.
Yes, and that my mom made me say this, probably.
Now, you learned some things about him through your neighbor.
She told me, you know why he got arrested, right? Because he had sex with underage girls.
And later...
That is an absolute lie.
You're the one getting caught in lies here.
I've never beat a dog.
I've been completely honest this whole time.
No, you haven't. I have never abused you.
How can you just literally sit here and lie to me?
Now, you learned some things about him that occurred in 2010 on the internet, correct?
I learned from my neighbor.
Through your neighbor. And what did they show you?
I would constantly cry to her because she was my friend about how I had to see my dad and how I was scared that I wasn't going to come back. And one day she told me, you know why he got arrested, right? And I said, why? And she told me that it was because he had sex with underage girls. And it really scared me because he was always a little weird with me. Like, he'd touch my leg and he wouldn't stop if I asked him to stop, and he called me his property. And after that, I was afraid that I could be the next victim.
So you know that he pled guilty to 2 counts of sexual assault with a minor.
Yes.
And there were originally 4 counts, and he made a plea deal, pled it down to 2 counts, and pled guilty. But he now says that none of that's true.
Yeah, I've called him out for it too recently, and he gets mad at me for believing it, but it's an actual court document, like, it's a fact.
But what does he say about pleading guilty?
He said he was forced to plead guilty, and she just plays the victim in the situation.
Well, does your dad seem like somebody that would be forced into something?
No.
Okay. And so what is it you want? You're here today. You haven't had a relationship with him in 5 years. You believe that he has abused young girls, that he is abusive, has been abusive with you, your sister, your mother. You believe he's still abusive today. So what do you want?
I want him to realize that he is not the victim in the situation and to possibly get help. And I want to try to protect my little siblings from being around him and help the situation a little bit.
So who is still visiting, has visitation with him?
My sister sees him occasionally, not as much anymore because he moved far away, but my half-sister is with him full-time, and my stepbrother is with him a lot of the time.
And they are how old? The stepsister and brother?
She's probably about 7, and he's probably about 10. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen them in a while.
But they're young.
They're young.
And so you're worried about them. You don't want them to go through what you went through.
Exactly.
Okay. And you're afraid that he could be inappropriate in some way beyond just being abusive.
Yeah.
Is there any hope in restoring a relationship with him?
If he can get some serious help and actually take accountability for his actions, then maybe. Definitely not a close one. You've
thought this through, you've talked about this, and you're okay with confronting him and talking about this today because I'm here to mediate this, right?
Yes.
Like, you don't want to go have lunch with him, but you're okay to do this because I'm here for this today. And because I wouldn't bring him out here and have you around him if you're not okay with that, haven't thought through it, and I have your permission to bring him out here.
Yeah.
So you're good with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Now, Corey says his daughter McKinley is disrespectful, hateful, and dishonest. He says that he has never abused anyone, and he believes that his daughter may have misinterpreted events due to her being a brainwashed teenager with cognitive thinking errors. I'm not sure what he means by that, but I'm going to give him a chance to tell us. There are 2 sides to every story. We're going to meet Corey after the break, and we're going to let him tell us what his version of this history is. We'll be right back.
McKinley's been negatively impacted by slander, defamation, and malice that she's read about me. I didn't do anything wrong. She went from coming with me consistently to just not wanting anything to do with me at all. That's why I've done all I can to stand my ground as the parent.
And later, she has made serious allegations
All I can say to what she's claiming and alleging is show me the police report.
We're actually going to do that.
My German Shepherd, Zoe, was like one of my only friends growing up. She was a comforting thing for me to have around as a kid. So I'd sneak her in the house. My dad, he would see her and he'd also just start hitting her. And it got to a point sometimes where I thought he was literally gonna kill the dog. He got her this shock collar and she'd be running around in the backyard and he'd start shocking her on the highest voltage and she'd be freaking out. She'd be whimpering in pain and he would just laugh. I'd be crying, begging him to stop, and he would just keep going, saying she doesn't feel the pain. It was sick.
Well, McKinley completely cut off her relationship with her father 5 years ago, claiming that he was an abusive, psychopathic pedophile. But Corey says until 5 years ago, he and his daughter had a wonderful relationship. And McKinley was Daddy's little buddy.
Just to be crystal clear, I've never been physically abusive to McKinley, to my ex-wife, or to my current wife. My fights with my ex-wife are verbal altercations. I think McKinley overheard these arguments. She may have perceived there was physical abuse.
Say hi, Kinley.
Hi, Kinley.
Growing up with the kids, and I may have spanked them or tapped them on the backside. The kids got unruly, and it started to get agitating or annoying. I'd holler at them to be quiet. I was the disciplinarian between my ex-wife and I. She was more laid back. When McKinley's been offended, I've apologized to her and tried to make amends with her. McKinley's been negatively impacted by slander, defamation, and malice that she's read about me on the internet. I didn't do anything wrong. She went from coming with me consistently to just not wanting anything to do with me at all. It is frustrating as hell for me.
I don't want him in my life now that I'm an adult.
Sometimes McKinley will message me back and say, hey, I'm 18, I don't have to see you, I don't have to talk to you. It's just the same attitude. I have a text message from McKinley after she turned 18. Give me the hell alone because you're a scary person and I want nothing to do with you. Get out of my life. That's why I've done all I can to stand my ground as the parent and say, hey, this needs to stop. You're being disrespectful to me.
This will be the first time in 5 years that McKinley and her father will have a one-on-one conversation. So Corey, come on out. Corey, good to meet you. Have a seat.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
We have to maintain our distance here.
Yes, sir.
Corey, I'm glad you wrote in, and you're concerned about the lack of relationship with your daughter McKinley at this point. And this is the first time in 5 years that you guys have been one-on-one like this, right?
Yes, Dr. Phil.
So have you seen her?
Family activities every so often, yes.
She has made some very serious allegations that she says justifies the fact that she's cut off their relationship. And you say that they are absolutely unfounded, correct?
Correct, Dr. Phil.
You say that her brain isn't fully developed yet because she's a teen, and you think that she has some cognitive errors. What do you mean by cognitive errors?
What I mean by cognitive errors, Dr. Phil, is blaming me for everything that's gone wrong in the marriage and with the relationship with my ex.
She's just thinking wrong. She's reasoned this out incorrectly.
I believe so.
Okay. Now, what she's told me is that as long as she can remember, that you have been verbally, mentally, and physically abusive to her and everyone around you. You say, I've never abused anyone ever, period. How can it be so different?
Well, Dr. Phil, as a military veteran, I do have PTSD. And I do admit that I did get verbally angry more often than I probably should have, looking back on it at this point in time. But I have never physically abused a dog. I've never physically abused my ex. I've never laid a hand inappropriately in an abusive manner on my oldest daughter, McKinley, or on her sister, or on my stepson I have now, or my current 6-year-old daughter I've got with my current wife. All I can say to what she's claiming and alleging is show me the police report. Show me where it has ever been shown that I have been abusive in this way.
Well, we're actually going to do that. You say McKinley has cognitive errors, that she's not thinking right. Does everybody have cognitive errors? And later,
You were obviously guilty. Why did you come on Dr. Phil just to lie?
I didn't come on Dr. Phil
You
to
need
lie.
some serious help?
you say you've never abused anyone ever, but you're now changing that and saying, I have PTSD, so I have been explosive and raged.
Verbally, yes.
Okay. Because you said, I've never abused anyone ever, but there is a plethora of evidence to the contrary, and I'll let you respond to it, because according to McKinley, you began physically, verbally abusing me at 3 to 4 years old and frequently abused my mother. And that is, we have talked to your ex-wife, her mother, and she corroborates that. Now, according to your current wife, this is who you're married to now, she says, while pregnant, Corey put his hands around my neck and forced me into the wall. According to your sister, there's a history of being physically, emotionally abusive to me and other family members. According to your ex-wife, she says that he hit me, choked me, threw heavy objects at me, threw rocks at the daughter's head, abused the dog, and withheld food from McKinley. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people that all report a consistent history, and you say McKinley has cognitive errors, that she's not thinking right. Does everybody have cognitive errors?
I don't believe everybody's got cognitive errors, but I vehemently and adamantly have never abused physically anyone. I did get in an argument with my current wife back in 2015. We'd only been married about a year, and McKinley and her sister were over at our house, and I'd never grabbed my current wife around the neck. What had happened is she was verbally being abusive to me with me in the closet, wouldn't let me out of the closet, so I put my arm up like this to move her out of the way since she was unlawfully detaining me in the closet, so I could get her to move so I could get out. So I was under the order and the divorce decree, Dr. Phil, that nobody could make disparaging comments around my kids. My current wife was making disparaging comments about my ex-wife.
You were the one talking on her.
In front of my kids. And so I got my kids out of the apartment, and my ex-wife ended up calling the police department on me, and nothing came of that.
Well, here's what your current wife says, not what Corey wants me to tell you guys. He swears around all of his kids, constantly being negative or saying inappropriate things. There's been a few times when he was abusive towards me. While pregnant, Corey put his hands around my neck, forced me into the wall. He's never held a gun to my head, but has threatened to. I've never seen Corey do anything sexually inappropriate with kids.
Again, that goes back to what I was just talking about. I never put my hands around her neck. It's an unlawful detainment to keep me in my closet and be verbally abusive to me, and I have every right to move somebody out of the way under Utah law to get them to move so I can get out of the situation.
Yeah. Well, this is who you told us to call for a character witness to give us the truth, and she says she did clear a few things up. You've never held a gun to her head, but you threatened to.
No, I've never threatened to.
I'm really wondering if you do have PTSD, and I'm really sorry if that's true, if you don't really remember everything that others remember. Well, we have to take a break. Corey says he was convicted in 2010 for sexual battery of a minor, but that it is based on total lies. Now, he pled guilty, but he says it's based on total lies. He says he sympathizes with men like Brett Kavanaugh, and he knows firsthand how false accusations can destroy your entire life. We'll talk about that after the break.
A female came down and she's like, I'm a massage therapist. She gave me a business card. 2 of the massage sessions were at a hotel and 2 of the massage sessions were at my house. Then I got a text message on my phone from this girl saying, I'm gonna go to the police because I'm only 17. I was blown away. I was like, what?
When I found out he was arrested for getting with underage girls, that just made me so much more scared of him. I have called him out for it, and he says they tricked him. There's literally text messages of him being like, when you turn 18, I want to marry you. He just plays the victim. It's always someone else's fault. It's never his fault.
McKinley says she ended her relationship with her father 5 years ago after learning of his conviction of sexual battery of a minor in 2010. Now, to this day, Corey is adamant he did absolutely nothing wrong and only received 4 regular massages from the underage girl for a leg injury, which caused him to limp. Take a look.
Back in 2009, I was the owner of a security company. I was patrolling a property and I was limping. A female came down and she's like, hey, are you okay? I'm a massage therapist. She gave me a business card. She's like, if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. During the first appointment, the massage therapist had a friend with her that was learning how to do massage. She was the one that had contacted a call girl to come over to the hotel to say, hey, I don't want anything to do with this. And she's like, well, you have to pay a cancellation fee. And I'm like, pay a cancellation fee? I never called you to come down here. I was pissed at that point, and I let them know both I was not thrilled. The original massage therapist, she apologized. I made 4 appointments over the course of 3 or 4 months. There was nothing sexual that happened during those sessions. 2 of the massage sessions were at a hotel and 2 of the massage sessions were at my house. I cut things off after the 4th appointment. Then I got a text message on my phone from this girl saying, unless you pay me $2,500, I'm gonna go to the police because I'm only 17. I was blown away. I was like, what? This got turned into a humongous mess for me and my family. I never had a chance to offer my story to the police. The best offer that I was given was to take a plea deal to a Class A misdemeanor. This whole mess of slander and defamation has ruined my career. When I decided to run for Congress last year, I got a lot of flack on Facebook accusing me of being a pedophile, a sex offender. During the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings, I was in tears and heartbroken, because I've been in that position before. I ended up pleading to something I didn't do. I didn't do anything wrong.
What was the impact on you when you learned about this?
I was really disappointed and sad and scared that I had to continue to be around someone who has done things like that.
You maintain that you did absolutely nothing wrong.
That's correct. I didn't have any knowledge that she was underage, Dr. Phil.
So you said the girl approached you and asked if you wanted a massage. And what I'm trying to figure out, and you've watched this before, you probably know that I'm trained as a forensic psychologist, and I've worked in the court systems for many years and founded a trial science firm and have devoted a lot of my career to deception detection and to getting to the truth in matters. And it's been my experience that people that aren't guilty don't usually say they are. You did plead guilty.
I did.
Right, you just pled guilty. And according to the courts, you approached the minor and told him you needed a massage. And according to the police report, the minor stated that they went for a ride along with you, and at some point you mentioned something about getting a massage. Did they ever go on a ride along with you?
No, I never had him in my vehicle.
So the court's wrong and the police report's wrong. But that was in the record.
Correct.
And you say you didn't know that the girl was underage.
No, not at that point in time. Absolutely not.
But in the court record on findings of facts was on number 5 that you sent a text message to this young woman on her cell phone telling her that you had dreams about her and that you wanted to marry her when she turned 18, and that text message was part of the court record. Did you send her a text message?
I don't remember if I sent a text message or not.
Well, it was a part of the court record. So you didn't send it, or you don't remember sending it?
I don't remember sending the text message.
And do you remember wanting to marry her when she turned 18?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
How would there be a text message on your phone saying that you wanted to marry her when she turned 18 if you didn't send it? And wouldn't that contradict the fact that you didn't know she was 17?
I didn't know that she was 17 until I talked to my attorney.
Well, according to this text message that are in the findings of fact, you sent a text message saying that you had dreams about her and wanting to marry her when she turned 18.
That's an allegation that I don't remember.
The text message shows that you know she's a minor. How are you literally playing the victim right now? You are obviously guilty. Why did you come on Dr. Phil just to lie?
I didn't come on Dr. Phil
You
to
need
lie.
some serious help, and you're not even taking it or being honest or taking any accountability, and you're playing the victim.
They've got to look at the whole police report, what was alleged, what the terms of the plea deal were.
I read the whole police report. You are obviously guilty.
I wasn't guilty.
You raped her.
No, I didn't.
You raped an underage girl.
I didn't rape
and
anybody.
And you're playing the victim.
It's in the police report.
What is wrong with you?
I didn't rape
anybody. How do you
anybody.
do that?
In the police report, it says, quote, Corey called an escort who then gave him a sex act while minors watched.
That's what the allegation is.
You said, did I read the police report? I did, and that's what it said. Here's what's in the police report. Read this for me.
Based on the physical appearance, claim is virtually unbelievable.
And then
9/22/09 sent minor text referring to marrying her after she turned 18.
Okay. Now, that's not me saying that, and that's not McKinley saying that with a cognitive error. That's the court documents. The court saying it is virtually, based on the physical appearance, the claim is virtually unbelievable that you didn't know she was.
I believe that statement that you're referring to, Dr. Phil, was in an administrative hearing with professional licensing where action was taken against my security license. It had nothing to do with the criminal case. It was not a criminal court. It was slander from a administrative court by the Utah Department of Occupational and Professional Licensing, which, mind you, that hearing I won.
And do you have
There was
that
nothing
license?
in the police report that said, based on I'm talking about the police report, there was absolutely nothing that said, based on the physical appearance, claim is virtually unbelievable. I've read that report 100 times. I've got that report memorized like the back of my hand.
But you remember that, but you don't remember if you sent a text or not.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast 10 years ago. I don't remember what text I sent 10 years ago or didn't send.
Now, you claim you had 4 massage appointments and all of them were non-sexual.
Absolutely, correct.
And 2 of them were in hotels.
Correct.
So you go and get a hotel room to get a massage. And you said on one occasion an escort was hired and you paid the escort $100, but that was just a cancellation fee.
Correct. But prior to that, I want to make a point, Dr. Phil, that I asked her if she had a business location. She goes, no, I just started out doing massage therapy. I do out-call only. So I didn't want to bring somebody around the house immediately that I didn't know, or have a relationship of trust with or anything. And so I had this appointment set up. That's where we planned to meet the first time. She brought a friend of hers who she claimed was learning how to do massage. And she's the one that ended up contacting that escort.
And she was just starting out, so she didn't have an office.
Yes.
But even though she was just starting out, she was already training someone else?
That was my understanding, yes.
So she's new herself, but yet she's training someone else, even though she's beginning just learning how to do it herself.
Correct. That's what I was told.
Did that seem credible to you?
No.
I'm so new, I don't have a place, but yet I'm training an apprentice?
No, that wasn't credible at all. And in fact, that's why I cut things off completely with that other female.
Why'd you bring them to the house
at that
then?
point in time?
And made me and my sister hide in the room.
That was
for hours.
That was like a month after the fact. And I didn't make you guys hide in
Yeah, you
any
did.
room.
I came out and you hit me and told me to go back in there.
I never hit you.
Yeah, you did.
Is there a police report on that?
You know how hard that is to prove when I'm 5 years old?
Not once in Mom's divorce filing with me was there ever abuse mentioned once.
Who abused me my whole life? Who gave me PTSD?
I never abused you.
Who
I never
electrocuted the dog in front of me and laughed at it?
The dog had been trained by a trainer who gave me the suggestion to use a shock collar.
You
for
shocked
training.
her and laughed.
Hey, I didn't shock her.
You
and
mocked
laugh.
her while she was whimpering in
No,
pain.
I didn't.
I
That's
saw
an
you beat the out of her.
That's an absolute lie.
Right in front of me.
That is an absolute lie. I didn't.
You're
I've
the one
never
getting
beat a
caught in
dog.
lies here.
I've never beat a dog.
I've been completely honest this whole time.
No, you haven't.
You were delusional.
I have never beat a dog. I have never abused
How
you.
can you just? How can you just literally sit here and lie to me?
I have never abused McKinley.
You want to just ruin your relationship with me for forever?
Just one last thing. Can you describe the massage table that she used?
The massage table that she used was just on a regular bed. I'd never had a massage before. I didn't know that they used massage tables.
You just got a hotel room, motel room, whatever, got in bed, and she did whatever she did.
Correct. And can I make one more point, Dr. Phil, to this? The alleged call girl that came was never interviewed by law enforcement. Plus, I was extorted by this individual, and I didn't know what the heck she wanted. So she tries to extort me for $2,500. That's a B misdemeanor in the state of Utah. Were there charges on that filed? Absolutely not. Biased in an investigation, investigative misconduct. To a T.
Well, massage therapist's friend called up an escort from the hotel lobby, and you had to pay a $100 cancellation fee to the escort.
Correct.
And according to the courts, you called an escort that performed a sex act on you in the presence of the minors. But the one thing that both agree with is that you paid an escort $100.
Yeah, because she refused to leave and explained to me that they had a cancellation fee. And I was like, what?
In the police report, it says, quote, Corey called an escort who then gave him a sex act while minors watched. That's what the police report said.
That's what the allegation is. They never checked.
This is what the police report said.
Well, yeah, but they never.
You said, did I read the police report? I did, and that's what it said.
They called from the hotel phone, which I was pissed when that knock came on the door, and it was some call girl, sleazy call girl. And then I'm like, hey, I didn't call you. What are you doing here? Leave. And she says, well, it's going to be a $100 cancellation fee, and I'm not leaving until then. I don't want any other drama going on with all this whole thing. So, yeah, I had to pay a $100 cancellation fee.
Well, we do have to take a break. Corey ran for Congress in the state of Utah last year before dropping out on Super Tuesday. He says when the press reported what he considers to be his bogus conviction, it undoubtedly hurt his election chances. We'll talk about that after the break. We're out of time for today, but here's a sneak peek at tomorrow's shocking conclusion.
Next time, he pled guilty to sexual battery.
I'm not a rapist. I'm not a Ted Bundy.
You have 4 family members that all tell a very consistent story about you being abusive. You've pled guilty to charges. You say none of it's true.
I wasn't swinging bats at him. I wasn't hitting my kids. I wasn't hitting my dog. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I got backed into a corner by the prosecutor.
You backed yourself into this corner.
Come on. If you are completely innocent, you're guilty of being dumber than a box of rocks.
You still have not taken accountability for shutting me in the room, for hitting me, for starving me.
I never did that. I was diagnosed with PTSD.
I don't get how you have such bad PTSD because you never fought in the war.
That's next time.
You do not want to miss that, trust me. Can this completely broken father-daughter relationship possibly be repaired, and should it be? Will Corey finally take responsibility for what his daughter McKinley claims was an abusive childhood? Plus, Corey is adamant that he did absolutely nothing wrong and only got regular massages. Now, I'm going to give Corey every opportunity to explain what happened that led him to being charged with 2 counts of sexual battery of a minor and pushed him to drop out of his recent run for Congress. All that and more tomorrow. I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Why are you the second person to tell me I should just shave my head, Thurman? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have a specialty, cutting curly hair needs to be done differently than I shave my head. Okay. This other person also shaves their head. That doesn't mean, I don't think I'm going to look good. My wacky head is not going to look any good. And if I shave my head, I can't have red hair. Unless I just dye my bald head. It is complicated. I was only comparing our costs. I mean, honestly, sometimes I wish I just went and did it. Spent the money on how I cared for it and let just some person just hack at it. And I'm not saying that's what you do. But, well, if you think about it, if you do $20 a month, for 6 months, that's $120. Oh yeah, those are much, comparing our costs, those are much cheaper, yes. I charge a lot of money in bed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rail chum. Cabaret. All right, now. I have voluminous straight hair, so it's pretty easy for my barber to fuck around with it. I mean, I love that you use the word voluminous. Darling, it's perfect. You've got floofy hair. We like floofy hair. Okay, so let's turn the oven on, hey? We're gonna make our cupcakes. We need flour, baking powder, baking soda. Why, how much do you charge in bed, Artherma? I can speak English. Artherma. Oh, let me get where's my scale? Hello? Life is a cabaret. Less than $7. Ooh, you charge less than a pack of razors? Artherma. Can you please at least get to double digits? You're worth it. Good Lord. Can you all at least charge double digits before you start? All right, we need 210 grams of flour. Perfecto. Perfecto. This is a cabaret chum. Rail chum. We need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to use the no nut baking powder. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Which is half of a tablespoon. Woo. And we need a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda. We'll just mix that up. And we probably need salt up in here too, don't we? How much salt do we need? How much salt do we need, babes? Do, 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 do. Ow, I'm hurting my finger a lot, and it's annoying. All right. All right. Was that the entire soundtrack? No. Oh, it's the finale. Now we're doing Gypsy next. That was quick. I didn't realize how quickly. This is only a 37-minute affangool. They're beautiful. I didn't see it in 98. What year did I see it? It does not matter. I guess it was that one. All right, whatever. We're going to do a different one. I think we're going to do Gypsy next. Or maybe we'll do Hello Dolly. Unless anybody has a musical they would like to hear. You're out of eggs! Gabagool! No, there's no gabagool in this. I'm sorry to hear that you are out of eggs, Atherma. That sucks balls. Actually, I didn't mean to do that. What happened? How'd you get out of eggs? Well, we need to refill this. How did you let that happen, Atherma? This is one I was sorry I never got to see. Oh no, excuse me. We're not going back to that. This will give us a good hour. Sorry you had to hear me blow my nose. Texas toast size breads. Ooh! French toast. I'm thinking if I ever seriously watched a musical. Ooh! Can I influence you? Like, if I were to influence you, what would I make you watch? Or do you care? Do you want to? Like, what's the vibe here, buddy? Well, how do you know you're really not into it if you've never really watched it? I hate musicals, but only the Disney ones because you know horrendous history. That's fair. If you haven't really watched a musical, how do you know you're not really into it? You sit through a whole musical? Either in a theater or on TV? And musicals are so much more than Disney. Mill, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. And I totally understand some people don't like them. They were on TV a few times. All right, I'll allow it. Listen, listen, it's not for everybody, but I think that it can be a great medium. My sister was in, oof. She must have been very happy about that. I hope you didn't snore. 275 grams. Hello. Oh, I snored. Which is totally fair. I love a play as well. But I very much enjoy a lot of theater in general. Like unless something goes crazy wrong, I am going to England in April. And the intention is for me to go see a couple of shows on the West End. Saw and enjoyed Les Mis. Okay. Okay. That's like a huge thing to see and enjoy, I would say. Now, I already weighed this out. This is sour cream, by the way. I already measured it out. Yes, it really is. What did I enjoy Chicago. I enjoy Annie, although I've never seen Annie on on stage. I've only seen the movie now that I think about it. I shouldn't have thrown that away. Oh well. Not throwing that away. You know what I meant. It's odd as I think musical. I think the generation of High School Musical stuff, not the things like Les Mis and Phantom.